أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
How you doing? Good. Oh.
You got your footage, we're gonna have our footage.
Whose footage?
Huh?
Whose footage?
Dave's recording, you're recording, right? You got
Who's
recorded?
Who's David?
David Wood?
Let me be the first to apologize for their tardiness.
Oh, it's all right. We're here all day.
We're here all week.
Feel free. It's all free.
That's right. Oh, Bilal Phillips.
You know Bilal Phillips?
I like his voice.
You like it? Yeah, it's got that deep voice.
Yeah.
How you doing? Good, good. Are we fisting or?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, we good?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good to meet you.
But I know it's got to be 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet. Yeah. So you guys Christians, I'm assuming?
You know who we are.
I don't know who you are.
Oh,
Why would you assume I know who you are? Are you famous?
Well, we showed up yesterday, and you guys here said that Sam said he was going to come by, and they're like, "Why you didn't come by earlier?"
You're Sam?
No, this is Sam. Come on, man. You know Sam.
I don't know Sam. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Look, I don't know if you guys. No, my name is Uthman.
Osama Abdullah?
No, I don't know who that is.
He's
My
joking.
name-
He's joking. We know who you are.
Oh, you know who I am.
Yeah, we saw a video.
Oh, you're just being funny.
Yeah, he's being.
I like that,
He's not
Hasuf.
he's not very good at it.
So you're Hasumu
He's
then?
not very good at
No,
it.
I'm not a sumo wrestler.
You're not Hasumo?
No. That's,
What's your name?
my name is Osama Shamoun.
Hasamu?
Yes, sir, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to get to know who you are, bro. Why you all? Hey,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Calm down, yeah.
What? I just asked him.
I know, but you were acting like somebody was getting up at you. I think.
Oh no.
Good conversation.
Yeah, let's have it. So you are
David, I'm David.
David Wood.
Yeah.
Hammer Time.
What's that?
They call you Hammer Time, right?
Yeah, some people.
Okay,
do.
gotcha.
Yeah.
That's you.
You do know. Yeah, we're good.
No, somebody told me about you, so that's good to finally meet you. Nice. You guys flew to San Diego?
Be a gangbanger down here in San Diego.
Oh man, you know
He
me.
was too. He
call
was
you?
too. He was too.
You were?
What did they call you down
I don't know if
here?
I should be telling you, man.
Huh?
You were a
What,
gangbanger?
they called him Hammer Time. What did they call you?
They called me Shooter.
Shooter. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. We're on even playing field then. I was called Crook.
Crook?
Yeah.
Were you a crook?
He was a car thief.
Oh.
Not here in
What
San
gang were you
Diego.
from?
I lived up in Orange County, but also
What barrio?
ran around in Inglewood Mafia, those sorts of things.
Were you Blood, Crip, SA?
More of an SA type gang.
Nice. Cool.
But my background is Sicilian, just like.
Ah.
You're Pakistani, right?
Yeah, I'm Pashtun, yeah.
So we're both guys sort of out of our own water in a sense, but we.
I feel you.
In different.
Yeah. That's cool. What's your name?
My name's Anthony.
Anthony. Nice to meet you. So are you guys Christian then, or Catholics?
Yeah,
Are you?
I've seen one of your videos. You might have seen more, but I saw one video. It popped up. It was because you mentioned Christian Prince.
Okay.
And it was where you said you challenged him to a debate. You said
Yeah.
you debate anyone. So
Anyone.
So we decided. We know Christian Prince is not going to come down there.
Okay.
He's not comfortable revealing his identity.
Why?
But
I mean, you're here. Nobody's.
we're here.
If we knew.
That's a good question for Christian Prince, right? That I mean, you guys are here. Anybody harming you? Anybody attacking you?
I don't think that's the. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't speak.
Is he like on a sex registry somewhere? Like, is there a problem with showing his face? I show my face. I don't have a
I know a
problem.
lot of
You're here,
that show their face, but
right? So why would he be ashamed of showing his face?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason though.
What do you think the reason is? Scared, maybe?
Maybe he's a professional business. I actually know some Muslims that are like this. A lot
Really?
of Muslims they just don't want to.
Muslim debaters or YouTube guys? I think they all show their face, right?
I know quite a handful of people that just like to. This isn't. They're not interested in becoming public figures per se, but they do like to engage the discussion.
All right.
I'm sure in their own.
Good to see you
context-
back.
I'm sure in their own context they're known. You know, how could you not? You know, if you engage people, then you're going to be known, at least in your context. But they don't.
Right, but I think
National attention.
every Muslim YouTube da'i shows their face. I don't know if any that don't, right? So I'm just wondering
Back
why.
in the day, for example, Yahya Snow.
I never heard of that name before in my life.
But I used to. I mean, I've been engaging people for at least 20 years.
Wow, man, you got experience.
Well, that's not my point. My point is just I know Muslims who preferred not to, and that was just what it was. And I thought,
Okay, so let me just get to know you as what kind of, because different kind of Christians I was explaining to, we get all kinds here, right? And I've never watched any of your videos, so I don't know you. So I want to get to. If
I
you
am
don't.
a Presbyterian pastor, so I'm a
Okay.
Reformed Christian.
So do you believe Jesus is God, or do you believe Jesus is the Son of God?
I think that's a false antithesis.
Just a question, honestly.
Well, yeah. So the answer is it's a false antithesis.
That's not what you said, but okay.
In a Jewish context, to be the son of, to have the nature of, the one that you are the son of. And so in Christianity, the Son of God is by nature God.
Okay.
But without division, right? And
Without division. So they're the one.
they're one. They're absolutely
Okay,
one
so-
in their essence.
Okay, so God, Jesus is one.
Right. So they don't have
Okay.
parts, for example, as in Islam, where God has multiple parts.
God doesn't have
and
parts.
attributes. So you don't believe Allah has a face?
Okay, let me explain that
But
to you.
do you?
Can I?
Wait a minute.
You asked a question. Can I answer?
Yeah, you asked me a question a minute ago, then
Okay.
you faulted me for not just directly answering.
I'm directly answering if you let me speak. Okay,
Eyes,
so
hands.
you see this?
Let's just be
You see
clear.
this?
Let's just be clear with the
He's just
question.
clarifying the question.
Let's
Sure.
be clear what the question is, and then I'll let you talk. Face, eyes, hands, chin, foot, or feet. No. Does he have those attributes, those qualities? And I'm not asking you to describe what those qualities are.
Are you done with your question?
My question is, does he have multiple attributes?
You see why you're not letting me answer, right?
He's
Okay,
not.
thank you. So can I
Please
speak? Okay, so as I listen to you, please listen to me, okay? Allah is one, indivisible, okay? Al-Ahad, He is the one that is one without two, okay? He has sifat that are all His.
And sifat?
Can I finish? I'll explain it. No, I don't need you to define it for me. Thank you.
I'm asking you to.
I will.
Okay.
See, when I asked you to let me speak, you interrupted me again. But if you just let me, don't be insulting towards me. Let me speak.
You're being insulting. All I'm asking you to do is.
Am I being insulting, or am I trying to answer here?
Well,
Would? Am I trying to answer, or am I being
I
insulting?
think he just wanted a lot of.
Look,
basically
if
a
you
lot of
want
your-
my answer, you have to listen to my answer.
Yeah, I'm
You're
just
using-
explaining what he's saying.
you're
A lot of
using-
your viewers are going to be familiar with terms that our viewers might not.
I'll
be
explain
familiar
it
with.
if he lets me.
Yeah,
okay. So you need to know. I need you to explain it.
When you speak, I'm going to listen. When I speak, you can listen.
So you're-
And then if you would like to get a clarification
So
after I'm,
you
see,
were-
again, look at this, right?
I already know-
He doesn't want me to speak.
We've already agreed to
Let your audience see this.
We've already agreed
that
to
you
this.
won't let me
This
speak.
man won't tell us what sifat.
I will if you listen, okay?
Go ahead.
If you need a clarification afterwards, please wait for me to let finish and then ask me to clarify. Is that understandable? Can we have a civil discussion
gonna
here?
tell us about
There we go
sifat.
again.
You just asked
Okay.
the question. I answered.
Your own buddy is telling you let him answer, bro. Let him
hear
go.
what he says.
Thank
I'm
you.
anxious.
Thank you. At least you want to hear it. Okay. So when you talk about sifat, they are of Allah's characteristics. They're not divisible. You cannot take the hand away from the face. They are all a part of Allah. Okay?
Part?
Yes. Okay? Sifat are characteristics. You understand? For example, this is a gentleman named David, right? Now, this is your face, this is your hand, this is one. If I cut your hand off, it will not exist anymore, right? Because that is now cut off from your body, right? This is you, understand? Allah has sifat that are not like humans. They're not like us. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. But He has sifat that He told us about in the Quran and upon the lisan of the Prophet. Now let me explain those words. Allah has characteristics that He has explained in His holy book, the Quran, and upon the tongue of His Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But He is one. He's not divisible. He doesn't become into parts, not Legos. That is not the way it works in Islam. Okay? Now, any terms you didn't understand,
No,
Anthony?
I understood the terms, and I
Okay,
think
just
we
wanna
were
be clear.
Defining them for the sake of the audience. But
Excellent.
Here's my question. At one point, you said he has sifat. These are attributes, characteristics, parts of him.
Yep.
They're inseparable from him.
Yep.
But you referred to them as parts. So do you believe?
I did
that
not.
Allah- You did use the term part.
I said
You said they're a
sifat.
part.
I'll let
They're,
you-
they're a
but
part
I'll-
of Him.
Okay. So you
let's-
did use that term.
Sure, we will say sifat.
So you
That's the
would
word I
grant that at least in that sense, that Allah is not absolutely one. You don't mean He's absolutely one in the sense that He has no attributes. He has attributes.
You want me to respond?
Yes.
You see how I listen to you respectfully without interrupting you?
Go
No,
ahead.
no, I do need
Go
to do
ahead.
that because
We're past that.
no, we're not because you're already interrupting.
go again.
So the
You can
sifat of Look at this. Your own friend is telling you be quiet, man.
He's
Listen.
begging you to hurry up.
No, he's not. He's telling you to be quiet.
I'm interested in the answer.
Thank you.
And then I want to hear a response.
Okay,
it's cool.
so sifat are not things that make you more than one. This is your misunderstanding. Okay, when Allah is one, He's indivisible, absolutely one. His sifat is His. That does not make Him more than one. This is your misunderstanding. If you had studied Aqidah, and if you like to, we have durus, you can learn them, you would have known that the sifat of Allah are unique to Him and are only His and are part of Him. They are not divisible. Having sifat does not make you more than one. This is your misunderstanding. Can I finish now?
Oh, are you finished?
No, I'm not. If I was finished, then I wouldn't be talking anymore, right?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Now, if you look at any object in this worldly things, right? I'm giving you just a worldly example, right? If you look at a tree, right? A tree is one. If a tree has leaves and fruits and all of that, that doesn't mean that the tree is more than one. Now, if the fruit breaks from the tree, it's no longer a part of the tree, right? Now it's no longer a characteristic of the tree itself. Understand? Allah is one. He has sifat, but that does not make Him more than one. Are we clear?
We're clear on the fact that you're saying He's one in some sense.
No, I didn't say that.
I do not agree that He's one in every sense. If you are saying He has actual attributes, you use the analogy of a tree. A tree is composite. It has parts. It has branches. It has leaves. I grant that if something's cut off of the tree, it's no longer part of the tree. But the tree is made up of parts. If that's what you mean by saying Allah is one, then you are saying that your God, who is one, in the sense that He's only one being, is a composite of parts. So He's not absolutely one.
Can I finish?
There is diversity in unity in your deity. Is that true?
No. Can I explain it now?
Go ahead.
All right. I give you the example of a tree, and as I said in the example, it's a worldly example to show you that something that is connected is one. When it breaks, it's no longer one, which we have agreed to now, right? You said that if it breaks away, it's no longer going to be part of the tree. Okay, I'm glad we agreed to that. When we talk about Allah, as I've said repeatedly, He is one and He does not divide. Okay? This is unique to Allah. Allah is uniquely one. He is only one. His sifat do not make Him more than one. He is not divisible. He's not broken into parts. He is one. His sifat are part of that oneness. He is uniquely one.
Right.
See, I like David. David's got
yeah. All you're saying, though, is that He is a composite being that cannot be divided. The sifat cannot be separated from Him. I'm granting that. You're still saying He's a composite being.
Okay.
There's no objection here yet. I'm just saying.
Could I just offer clarification?
Sure.
Yeah, because
you grant that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing. So, if you, as you pointed out, a tree is one tree.
Okay.
A tree is one tree, but you could say the tree is one in the essence of being a tree or something like that.
Okay.
But it's more than one in cells or leaves or something like that. So it's a kind of unity and plurality or something like that. So I think all Anthony is saying is Allah like that, in that He's one in essence or nature or something like that, but more than one in attribute or
And I'm not objecting
something
to that.
like that.
I understand.
I'm not objecting. I'm just clarifying.
I'm going to listen first.
Yeah. So that's not an objection. So it's not like you need to think.
I'm just
I don't
listening.
think I don't think you'd be dishonest. So that's not what I'm suggesting here. But I don't think that you need to think, okay, what is he after here? Like he's going after this. I'm not going after that. I don't think a lot of Muslims know that. And I think that's accurate. I think that Muslims believe in one being, but they do ascribe to Him certain attributes, qualities, characteristics, all hearing, right, all seeing, those sorts of things. But that technically is not belief as you'd find in pagan philosophers in a monad, which is something that's devoid of any kind of attributes. It's an absolute unity.
Okay. So, first thing, I just wanted to understand what you're saying. If you're saying Allah has sifat, then no doubt we agree. And I have taught Aqidah, you can look at the lessons, it talks about it, right? Allah is all hearing, all seeing. But I think what the miscommunication we're having, and maybe we just kind of go past this, is thinking if somebody's all hearing and all seeing and all knowing, that can somehow make them components that could be taken apart or not a whole as one. I don't think having the ability to hear everything and see everything makes Allah, where Allah is not wholly one. Okay, so, but anyway.
So let me,
go ahead.
Can I ask? So, but you would say that his hearing is not his seeing.
Yes.
Right. So these are distinct attributes. So we are talking
Of one Allah.
right. So Allah's
And
one, but He has these attributes.
And these attributes don't leave him.
Okay. Now that's where I'd like to go after that.
Okay, so I mean, you asked me about Islamic Aqidah, right? In Islamic Aqidah, Allah, His attributes are His. He can I finish?
Yeah.
Man, you are. You drank a lot of coffee this morning or something, man?
no.
Yesterday we were talking to Hebrew Israelites and it turned into a shouting match.
I'll tell you what.
His aggression's a little amped up.
So hold on, Anthony. You're not talking to Hebrew Israelites. Your aggression needs to get toned down.
That's not aggression. You're just taking
Look,
too much offense.
your friend that's with you just called it aggression.
Yeah.
So don't tell me.
He was talking to Hebrew Israelites last night.
You guys video this, right? David is telling you it's aggression, so please tone it down, Anthony. From your friend.
He's helping.
Your friend is telling you calm down. Why don't you listen to your friend that came with you?
You look like you're ready to jump over the table, man.
Right? I like David. David, how come we haven't met earlier, man? Anthony, I can tell you were a crook.
I can tell you were a shooter.
Oh yeah, still am. Let's go.
You're crook.
So that's what they called you, right? Go ahead. What?
Mr. Hammer Time, you two keep bumping fists over here. I'm just.
We can bump fists.
No.
I got you, bro. Don't feel offended. All right.
It's going well.
So do you remember where we're at?
Yes, I do. Don't worry. Okay. So the understanding that you are bringing is not where I'm at, but we're going to put that to a side and just go to. Let me finish. Again, man, this
I'm
guy.
putting my finger up.
I got
I'm saying
you.
what
Okay.
understanding?
Let
I
me
don't know what you
give
mean.
it. Let me give it to you. Let me tell you. Let me speak, and you'll know what I mean.
Okay.
When you say something is one, and you say they're compartmentalized, they're taken of parts, right? It comes to an understanding, something that becomes like Legos, right? Something that can come apart and put back together, right? Allah is one. His characteristics are with Him, always been with Him, always will be with Him. He can reveal, oh, you're smiling already, look at that, right? He can reveal a part of His kalam, for example, the Quran, but the Quran is always with Him. You understand? Like, if you take what's written, that is not the part of the kalam. That can be burnt, that can be written. Somebody could eat it, somebody could do something weird, right? But the kalam of Allah is always with Him, always will be, not created. Okay? None of Allah's sifat are makhluk. You know what makhluk is? Creation.
Yes.
Creation. All right? So, this is just the understanding we want to have as a base. Now, my question to you guys, if you don't mind, is do you believe God is one in the sense that He can become two and come back together, and would He still be the same?
So this is why I do this. This is why I clarify this.
All right, good.
You have described Allah as one, although that does not preclude that He has sifat, attributes.
Which would not take away.
Christians have classically made the same claim.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think a lot of Muslims know that this is the Christian view. So that, for example, at least with respect to the attributes of God, I mean, I think we go a bit further though. But when it comes to the person of the Trinity, your description of attributes,
Shamoun, come.
your description of sifat,
Come, man. You look like you're bored, man. Come here. You're looking around, looking at.
your description of sifat,
You got three guys.
assuming I'm understanding you
you playing for the
correctly, and
camera
I'm
when you
granting
say
there's a
three guys?
possibility there's a
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know, he's playing for the camera.
There's not three of you here? Can you not count?
Okay,
Or is it one of you guys?
Let's suck it.
I'm trying to understand. Go ahead.
So when Christians speak of God as triune,
Okay.
we don't think of the persons as divisible.
Okay.
There's a hypostatic distinction. Now, if you're familiar with Islamic kalam, you know that when Muslims classically have spoken of Allah's attributes, they've referred to them as hypostasis. They've given them hypostatic status. That's all Christians have ever said when it comes to the persons of the Trinity. So that for Christians, the persons of the Trinity are not divisible. We don't believe in multiple gods. We're not polytheists.
Okay.
We believe that all persons of the Trinity co-inhere in the one divine essence, just like you would say that multiple attributes co-inhere in one being. Now, I do think, though, there's a fundamental distinction between the Christian view and the Muslim view, which is there does seem to me, in some Islamic thought at least, and you could tell me this is not your view, there seems to be a radical bifurcation between Allah and His attributes. So, for example, I'll just give you an example, and you can tell me what you think of that. Some Muslims I talk to will tell me that Allah himself cannot be present in his creation, but his attributes can. The attribute of seeing, for example. So that's just.
You want me to answer you?
Yes.
See how
That's where we're at, and that's where.
Do you see how I respectfully, even though I had a lot to say, I just stayed quiet and listened to you? Did you see that?
Yeah, we're past that. Come on.
We're not because. Okay. So, first thing, your delving in kalam to me is useless, right? Because I don't believe in ilm al-kalam. Okay.
But I'm saying I thought that was your view, and you could correct me if that's not your
I
view.
do not believe in ilm al-kalam, so obviously that's not my view.
But I'm just using kalam in the sense of theology, like akid.
Do you know what kalam is?
Yeah.
What is kalam?
Well, it's philosophy, but
No, it's not.
but
That's falsafa.
well, but it's
So you don't know what kalam
it's the
is?
same idea.
It is not.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
What is kalam?
Go ahead.
Listen, Anthony, what is kalam? Because you brought it up, but obviously you don't understand what kalam is. What is kalam?
I'm just using it in the sense of people.
I
thinking
understand you're
through
using
issues
it.
of Islamic Aqidah and coming to certain conclusions. I know that your methodology would be Quran and Sunnah. That's how you derive your Aqidah.
Anthony, you brought up kalam. I'm just asking you, what is kalam? Ilm al-kalam. What is it? It's not, philosophy is falsafa. So what's ilm al-kalam?
They're related concepts.
What are,
It's basically theology.
it is not.
From a Christian perspective, that's how we view it.
It's kalam, as you're using it, understanding Islamic aqidah, right? What is kalam?
But that's what I'm telling you.
You don't know.
He's saying that's how he's using it.
Okay, I got you. So let me explain it to him now.
you go ahead.
Anthony, you good? All right. So, philosophy is called falsafa. That's basic philosophy. Kalam is use of certain Greek principles, not philosophy in general, understand? In the use of understanding aqaid, and this is something that was brought on by the Asharis and the Maturidi and Ahlul Kalam. You know who those are? You know what Asharis are?
Yes.
Who started the Asharis?
Ashari.
What's his name? Ashari just
That's his name. I don't
What's
know. I
his
couldn't
name?
say his full name. You know you guys have
Okay.
like mile-long names.
No, Abu al-Hasan al-Ashari. It's pretty easy. It's not a mile long,
Well,
man.
it's his name is
Yeah,
Al-Ashari.
yeah. That's a
And
tribe.
he was reacting against people like the Hanbalis, or allegedly. At least Athari Akida.
All right.
Am I correct?
No, but let me explain
He,
it.
he is trying to. Well, I know that you guys would say the original Al-Ashari. So let me ask this.
Go ahead.
I think maybe you would hold the position that Al-Ashari originally held more of a Hanbali-like approach, and then people later said something else.
Now let me explain this. Hanbali, if you're talking about the madhab in fiqh,
Yeah. But I'm thinking of their Aqidah. More of their
okay, so then you're talking about the Athari Hanbali Aqidah,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that was the original Aqidah from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and that's what I follow today. Okay, so I don't follow ilm al-kalam at all. In Aqidah, I don't deal with it. When these Greek ideas started to seep in, do you understand? Then at that time, people started to misunderstand sifat by using ilm al-kalam. Okay, even Abu al-Hasan al-Ashari, and that's why I asked you if you really know who he is. He wrote a book called Al-Ibana fi Usul al-Diyana. I have it. If you want to check it out, I'll bring it.
I think we're moving.
Yeah, we're just moving it off.
You need to move this?
We got it. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Here, guys, get it?
Just so you know, it sounds to me like you described Ilm al-Kalam just how I'm using it.
It's not.
I'm not saying you adopt that.
All right.
I'm just
So,
saying this is an area, this
right,
is part
so-
of that area of discussion.
so maybe David understood me because obviously you didn't. So
Okay.
let me explain it again.
Okay.
Okay. You with me now?
Yeah.
Philosophy is falsafa. Okay, in Arabic, that's what we call philosophy. Ilm al-kalam is a totally different concept. It's a concept of taking certain principles of Aristotle's thought and bringing it in to understand the sifat of Allah. This is something that was rejected by all the earlier ai*imma, like Abu Hanifa. You know Abu Hanifa? You know the four imams?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Well, it might take me a second. Abu Hanifa, Ahmed bin Hanbal.
All right, you got two.
Shafi'i.
Shafi'i. One more.
Shafi, hold on.
You got this, Anthony. You can do it.
I don't pretend to study fiqh, just so you know.
Well, you
Just so you
teach.
know.
Okay.
I
Well,
got three.
we're talking about Aqidah here.
Hanafi.
No, you already said Abu Hanifa. Yeah.
Hanafi.
I'll help you.
Hanbali, Shafi.
Maliki, come on.
Oh, David, for the
I
rescue.
would've got it.
You got to thank him for that one. Come on, man. Right,
It
all right.
reminds me of king in Arabic,
All right.
and I think it's similar in
Okay, so now, that use of kalam is something that was rejected by all of them. Okay, so leave kalam out of it. In the discussion, no kalam. Okay. Now, even if we took those do not separate God from His creation, right? Meaning that Allah is separate. They don't separate parts of His sifat to go on. He can see, but that doesn't mean that He's a part of His creation. Okay? Just because you see something doesn't mean you're a part of that. Okay? Now, my question again now, as I understand, and I want to understand your idea, because you're saying it's the same concept. So let me just, okay, I mean, you said this is the same basic as kalam, so I just want to understand. I know what kalam is, even though I don't use it, okay? So when you say Jesus was born out of Mary, right? Are we in agreement?
Well, you go ahead and finish your point.
Well,
I'll talk.
that's just a question.
That's what we established.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So I'm just asking this question. Was Jesus born out of Mary?
Do I get to reply now? Because
Yes.
there's a lot that's bound up in that. Because I don't think that there's... So let me clarify. When I talk about that whole area of discussion, Akida, Kalam, all that, I'm not saying you adopt that. All I'm getting at is that this is that whole area of discussion that gives rise to all of this. What I said was that as Christians, we believe the persons of the Trinity, as to their divine nature and essence, co-inhere in the one divine being. My question to you was, does Allah's attributes, which you say are inseparable from Him, do they enter into His creation? Now you said, and see, this is where I think it's being flipped. You said they don't become part of His creation. I'm not asking if they become part of His creation. I'm asking if since Allah Himself can't enter into creation,
Well, I didn't say that, but
nevertheless you would say that His attribute of seeing is present.
yes.
Okay, but is Allah present?
So do you mean present physically in that, or so if you mean is Allah present in knowing everything and seeing everything and hearing everything, then yes, Allah sees everything, hears everything, and knows everything. Okay, can I finish? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us about Himself, His nuzul, and all that He has said, we believe in it as He has revealed it. Okay, but we don't mix the creator and the creation. Now, you went around my question. You said you were going to answer, but you didn't. Was Jesus born from Mary's womb?
So, again, just remind me if I don't get to this part. Because
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure you're trying to build on where we're at, and I'm just trying to make sure we're at the same
So,
spot.
pretty simple question there.
Yeah, it was simple,
right.
but I haven't even tried to answer it.
I wish you would.
So, what I'm saying is, what is it then about Allah that isn't present if His attribute of seeing is here?
Okay.
And there's a sense in which you can say He's here in the sense of seeing,
Okay.
but He's not here in what sense?
Okay.
And then, you want my answer to the other part?
Yes.
Okay. Jesus, because we don't believe that God is absent from His creation, He's upholding all things. There's no sense in which He could be absent. He's not His creation, right? He's not any part of it.
Okay.
Right? When we say that God is present, we don't mean that He is the things that are here. He is present upholding everything. Everything is upheld by His power. So nothing could be apart from Him. It exists by virtue of Him. When the Son of God takes on a human nature, it's not the Son of God now entering creation for the first time. He's already present. God is omnipresent classically, according to Judaism and Christianity. The Son of God is now taking into union with Himself a human nature, and by virtue of that is being born. It's not His divine nature, it's not coming into being, it's not starting to exist at that point, it's not in some sense now becoming present, whereas before it wasn't. Does that address what you were asking?
No, not at all.
So then what were you asking?
Okay, so my question very simply, was Jesus born from Mary's womb? That was the simple question.
Yes, well that's the answer is yes. And
Okay, that's the answer, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me understand this now, a deeper understanding. God, who is not separable, so He is still God, was in this belly of a woman and came out of the womb of a woman. God did.
God took on a human nature and was really born.
So your belief is that one great creator came out of the womb, the vagina of a woman.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Have a nice day.
All
Have-
blue too, Roger.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me explain.
Your God
Let me.
Wait, don't
You want me to answer him?
Well, yeah, you can answer him, but what I'm getting at is
Okay.
don't pretend that you refuted Christianity just because
okay.
you've
So-
rolled your eyes at it.
Let me.
This is the historic Christian position,
Okay.
which your religion later came along and claimed that it was confirming and correcting at points of its departure, which you believe from what was originally true. You don't refute Christianity by eye rolling. Surely you know that, right? What is your argument against that?
Okay. You want me to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not here to refute Christianity. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to give da'wah. I am a da'i, not a debater. You misunderstood it. If you wanted to come and debate, you can come and debate. No problem. Let me explain this. When I said, thank you very much, that means in my mind, and anybody I think who has basic logic would not believe that the creator of the universe was born through the vagina of a woman. Right? That's me. That's my belief. If you believe that, I respect your right to believe that. To me, that doesn't make any sense. And let me finish. Take it easy, Crook. Take it easy. Stop jumping. Take it easy.
Shooter, come
so
on.
thank
Start
you.
shooting.
I'm shooting.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So here, to me, that makes absolutely no sense. To think that the creator of the universe was now, and he still is, even if he's in human form, because he said he still won, was the womb of a woman and came out of the vagina of a woman. This is the creator of the universe. To me, that doesn't make sense. To me, that's a human. That makes sense to you?
Is it my turn? Hold on.
It didn't.
So now it's my turn, right?
Go ahead.
Now let me just explain to you guys a critical issue.
Sure.
If anybody takes a basic class in logic, rhetoric, or anything like that, and I'm not saying you haven't, I think you're a smart guy. I'm not,
Thank
that's
you. I
not-
appreciate that, Anthony.
That's not even me being disingenuous. I think he's a smart guy, and I say that about people all the time. I think people can be smart that I disagree with.
Sure.
But you do know that there's a difference between making an assertion and making an argument.
Sure.
It's an assertion to say that doesn't make sense,
Sure.
and to say that you think nobody who says that is even being logical or is logical or what have you.
Sure.
The vast majority of people on the planet happen to believe that or something along those lines. Yes, and I've heard you say things to that effect.
Vast majority, that would be more than 50%, you're saying.
No, but what I'm saying is...
I don't think Christians are more than 50% of the planet.
What I'm saying is, so first of all, in history, Christians have been a majority, but what I'm saying is there are other groups that would say things that you would think are analogous to that. Do you not?
Do you want me to answer?
Okay, but
I'm
don't-
just listening. See,
Okay.
see, David asked you to be, I'm
Go ahead,
listening.
go
Okay.
ahead.
First thing, the vast majority taking something or not taking doesn't really matter to me. Second thing, I didn't make an argument. I gave you my opinion.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
That was my
All
point.
right.
That
Good.
was my point.
But-
And
but
I wasn't arguing that the majority makes it
You see how
true.
you cut me off again?
No,
David.
No, this is the
David,
point
come
you're
on, be
making.
fair, bro.
Come on, David. He needs your help. He needs the help of a Christian.
You need it. You need his help.
You need.
You see this? You see this?
Don't take
You
the
guys
Jews
see
and
this?
Christians for your friends.
You see this?
Come on now. You don't need his
You
help.
see this?
You don't need his
David,
help.
this is what you came to represent?
Come on, guy. We're still
Seriously,
talking.
David?
We're still talking.
We're not
talking.
talking because you
Yeah,
keep
we
cutting
are.
me off, bro.
No. I'm just saying this is
Okay.
what we've established now. You have only rolled your eyes at it. When I said the majority have held this, I'm not making an argument here either.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's not an argument, and so I think you need to do something better than that.
First thing, the majority of the world today is not Christian. All right. This is, I mean, if you have 2 billion out of 7 billion, that's not a. Okay. So the majority would not believe in Jesus being born because Hindus and others would also not believe in that as Muslims. Okay.
I was using-
So let me just clarify that, right? If you can. Right? Well, I think we're good. We're good. Right? So that doesn't even make sense. First off, what you're saying, right? Because you're saying the majority would believe that concept of Jesus being born, and that's not true, right? So let's leave, misconception out of it, because that's not true to begin with, right? Now,
That's not how I intended it, though.
but that's what you said.
Let me just clarify. I think he's saying that if you say something like, well, that just sounds weird or crazy to me, he's saying most
On
of
the
the world...
concept of God being born out of the
Most
vagina
of
of
the
a
world
woman.
doesn't find that absurd, even if they don't believe it.
Really? I don't know how. Wait, hold on. Who am I dealing with here? Because you guys are all jumping in and out. Can I deal with 1, 2, 3, 4?
You seem to want to avoid the points.
I'm not. I'm getting to the point, right? So the point is to say the majority of the world does not have an objection to God being born out of the vagina of woman is not correct, because that's a Christian belief. Hindus, for example, and I've spoken to many, would not agree with that concept, right? Neither would Muslims, neither would some Buddhists, depending on who they are, neither would Jews. Many Jews would disagree, right? So that's, your statement was factually incorrect, but that's not really the point.
No, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Try and move on, then I get to respond to that.
Go ahead.
The point was conceptually, you're making the category mistake of people accepting it as true and people accepting it as logical or rational. Something can be false and still be logical, right? Let me give you an example.
Sure, I'm listening.
It's not irrational for somebody to be walking down the street right now with an umbrella. That doesn't mean somebody is walking down the street with an umbrella. There's a difference between making something that's logically possible as a claim and somebody making a factually true statement. What I was getting at is that conceptually the world has not held that. When you enlist people like Jews, for example, that's not really helping, because Jews, how many Jews are there in the world? You know that, you know, as well as I do, there's not that many in the world, and certainly not compared to either Islam or Christianity. The vast majority of people have not considered the Christian belief irrational, that the Creator could enter into His creation or be present in His creation, which is basically the same idea. The vast majority have not thought that, even if the vast majority have not believed it. Although I would say statistically more people are Christian than there are Muslims or other religions.
Can I speak now?
Yes.
See how I listen? Right?
Great. You
No.
did a good job.
Thank you. Let's see if you can.
Okay.
So now, when you said the vast majority of the world does not agree with what I'm saying, right, or has no problem with that concept, you have no evidence for that. You're making an assumption. Let me speak, because the vast majority is not Christian, right? And the other groups of faith, you're making an assumption on their behalf, which I am only assuming for myself. I said, to me, that doesn't make sense, right? I didn't make a claim that the vast majority of the world would agree with me. But when you say the vast majority, again, this guy, man, this guy.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. No. Look, look how I listened when he was speaking.
Use every little excuse to...
Yeah. So I am dealing with the issue, right? The issue is that your claim is wrong because you're making an assumption about the vast majority of the world. But again, like David said, I think you're just going off just because you took a tangent, right?
No, I was
You're talking about me?
I was talking
Are you talking about me or him?
Whole
No,
discussion.
I'm talking about the whole discussion.
Okay.
I think the point he's simply making is Hindus, of course, reject Christianity. But
Sure.
It's not on the base. They're not saying we reject it because it's absurd to think of God being born. Because if their scripture said it, they would say, okay, we have no problem.
But you're making an assumption on the Hindu belief that they would accept that.
I'm thinking of what Hinduism teaches.
Right,
They
but
believe
again-
all kinds of things like Krishna
Right,
and so
sure,
on that
but-
shows that they would not have a problem
Again,
with that in itself.
I will not make an assumption if they would or would not believe in Islamic doctrine was in their books, and you should not make an assumption that they would or would not believe a Christian doctrine that would be in their books.
First, I was
Yeah.
responding
Whew.
to you. First, I was responding to you, saying nobody would believe this. Or this is absurd. It's illogical. Logical people wouldn't believe this. And I'm pointing out to you, the vast majority of people have not found that conceptually.
Where's that evidence for that?
The evidence for it is that you don't have it. That's the whole point.
I didn't make the claim, you did.
No, you made the claim that the vast majority of people would see that as illogical.
Did I, David?
Yes, we got it on tape.
Did I
Okay.
make that claim?
So
Wait. We got this on tape. Wait. David, what's your name? Lewis. Let's just be honest here. Did I make the claim that the vast majority of the world would find it objectionable? Did I make that claim? Illogical. Did I make that claim, Lewis?
I didn't hear you make that claim.
Thank you. David, did I make that
He doesn't
claim?
even stand here.
I'd have to look at the footage.
Yeah,
Did I?
that doesn't mean you didn't. It's irrelevant.
It is relevant because when you see, hold on, Anthony, bro, listen. When you are trying to put words in my mouth and claiming that I made claims that I didn't make, and your friend David and your friend Lewis there also know better, even if he wasn't here, then he's out. But David was standing here the whole time,
he was
and we got it on tape.
Yes,
I did not
on
make
tape.
that claim.
Okay,
I
can we get
repeatedly.
down to a point
Yeah,
of
but-
substance?
okay, let me say this.
You guys moved the point then.
Let's
So
just, this vast majority of people on the planet happen to believe that or something along those lines. Yes, I think you're kind of making this an issue of bad faith, meaning like there's ill will here. Okay.
Well, there is when you put words in my mouth,
No,
right?
listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
I don't think I'm wrong. I think I heard you accurately.
Okay.
It's possible I'm wrong. I'm willing to grant that. I'm certainly not saying it because I'm trying to put words in your mouth, right? It's possible, right? Right? No, listen.
What?
Listen.
Are you trying to go somewhere else here, Louis? No, you guys need to pick who's going to speak, because now he's brought up a topic that he's trying to take a shot right here, right? One guy. It's all right. They'll be okay. But can you as a group pick who's going to be the one speaking? No, I'm serious. No. You guys are trying to throw a jab that if I respond to you now, then he's going to tell me I'm getting off topic. So you guys need to referee this first. No, you did throw a jab. You said the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put words of Jesus. That's a jab, because that's not true. That's a false statement.
So Muhammad quoted Jesus accurately?
Yes. Okay, so now this is how you're trying to take the discussion to a separate. Do you want me to respond to you now? Is this a discussion now, or are you going to tell me?
Are you hijacking this discussion?
No, well,
Thank you, David. I'm not shaking.
Okay.
You're shaking, and I'll shake all you guys.
Okay.
That's why you're jumping in, because you know this is getting bad for you.
Let's
It's all right.
get back to
Let me get back there.
So
the
David,
question was that
I'll tell you what,
the
listen.
virgin birth, the Son of God,
Okay.
and Islamic views on the nature of God.
So,
right.
Let's let David referee this, all right? Because I don't want then him to be jumping and him to be
But
jumping.
Do you understand what I was saying?
I do
there,
understand
right
what you're
now?
saying. Yeah.
That even if you think I got you wrong, it doesn't have to mean that I'm trying to make you look bad.
I appreciate that,
right?
Anthony.
Because that's
Thank
not
you.
what I'm trying to do.
Thank you.
Right? Okay.
All right. So let you referee, because I don't want to then be having you guy and this guy, right? I know you guys are all excited. It's good, right? Now, I'm not going to speak for Hindus. I'm not going to speak for Jews. I'm not going to speak for most of the world. That I'll let them speak to what they believe. Even in Islamic doctrine, I'm not going to make claims about them. Okay? As myself, as a Muslim, as Uthman standing here, I'm telling you, to me, if you come and tell me that the basis of your religion is that God put himself, that he impregnated a woman named Mary, and she became then his mother. He impregnated his mother and came into the womb of Mary and then was born out of a vagina. To me, the conversation's over. Your religion, to me, has no appeal, because to me that's just disgusting and doesn't make sense. My personal view, right? I respect your right to have your view.
Now, do you think, and I'm not going to get into that now, but do you think that I find certain things about Islam repugnant or attractive or not?
Sure.
Okay. Do you think that it would be rational for me to reject Islam on the basis of my personal revulsion?
Okay, do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Your personal belief has to do with you. If you don't like something in Islam, you have the right to reject. I didn't come up to you at your table and bring this. You came to me, right?
You technically invited
I
us.
did.
You technically invited us.
Can I? So I invited you. You came. You presented your view. To me, it doesn't make sense. I rejected, right? You came. If you want, I will give you the Islamic view, and if you don't like it, you can reject and walk up, have a nice day and travel apart. So, my invitations for this conversation, I'm not here to debate. As I said earlier, I'm a da'i, not a debater. If anybody wants to debate, like you apparently do, you're welcome to come here. But if I disagree, if I feel that this doesn't, God coming in the vagina of a woman and being born and the universe, and he's his, again, look at this guy. David, come on, man. No, he did not. He put his nose in the vagina of a woman?
Who blew into Mary's vagina?
Wait. Where did God put his nose in the vagina of a woman?
Who blew into Mary's vagina?
Nobody, not God.
Wait,
bring me. No, hold on, Lewis. If you're gonna jump in, then handle it. No. If you're gonna jump in, wait. See, David, you see what I mean? You see what I mean?
Exactly.
I said people don't jump in, and I asked you to regulate it, and you didn't. And now he jumped in again.
I don't control everyone.
You brought these people with you.
Okay.
No. Hold on. You guys are. See, when I'm at a point, you guys are letting people. Because now I could totally answer him, but no, it's not a debate. It's an answer. Do you know what the difference is? No, you didn't. You made a false statement. Right? Bring me evidence. Bring me evidence. That God put his nose in the vagina of woman. My God. Bring the evidence.
How about we do this?
Bring it evidence.
When you and I are done.
You have the Quran in your hand. Bring the evidence.
When you and I
you
are
got
done,
none.
When you are.
You got none. You got none. You tried to derail me.
When
You know better.
When you and I are done, then you guys can do that.
You see, David?
When you
All right, all right, let's go back. Okay. So who's speaking now?
I just wanted to kind of clarify. That's the only time I jump in when
I agree. You can jump in. I'm saying is, can you regulate so we don't have some guy trying to make some false statement here and there? If you can't, then we're going to make a line.
If someone walks up, I can't say you can't speak.
Is he not with your group?
I mean,
Come on. Don't lie. Don't lie. He came earlier to check out.
I know him.
Yeah, you know him.
He's not with our group. But
So you know him, right? So he knew you were coming or no? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
I did not.
No, it doesn't.
I didn't tell him a word.
Yeah, see, you see this?
Hey, I told no one except my wife and him. And
I can tell you.
him and
Did you know he was coming?
Did I know who was coming?
David Wood.
He obviously knew.
Is he again? Now he's the one jumped in. Now you want to talk about sidetracking. All right.
We
Go ahead.
had this thing planned, and then some things.
You did have it a plan. So that's what I'm saying.
wanted to
When
come
you
here.
plan this, then you can control this, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but what I'm saying is we had planned that some
So,
of us were coming here to talk.
Let's ignore Lewis then.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm going to put you on mute.
You guys can
All
have
right.
the
All
finish.
right, now, so I think the issue is right.
Okay.
So you obviously want people to learn about Islam.
Yes.
And you're inviting people to Islam.
Yes.
And I think the point that Anthony is making is if our response was, well, we don't like Muhammad and Aisha, or we don't like this
Sure.
or that.
That's fine.
I think your response would be, well, if it's true, you need to believe it anyway, and not just because you don't like something, right? And I think so. What he's saying is, the question about Christianity should be, is this true? Not, oh, I don't like that idea. So I think that's what you're trying to get at.
So,
Right?
and let me
I
throw
think
this
you put
in.
that pretty well,
And let me
David.
put this in because I would agree with. Let me say this.
Should I answer him now?
But
Or?
this goes with that. You're not that.
Well, I mean, I did
No, no.
I did talk to him to see that.
Okay, so can I?
This goes with that.
Is that the point you're making?
Let me, yeah. So what I'm saying is, though, is if you could show me, for example, I'll give you an example, and I think you would agree with this as a logical, manner of procedure. If there was something I didn't like in Islam, but somebody could demonstrate, let's say, that the source on which that claim is based is true, came
Okay.
from God, right?
Okay.
Like the Quran or the Hadith, some particular Hadith, then in my mind, it doesn't matter whether I have some natural reaction to this or not, I ought to believe it. And I'm saying the same thing when it comes to Christianity and Christian claims. If the Bible proclaims this, and the Bible's the Word of God, and I know you don't hold that, obviously.
You do.
Right? Yeah, of course I do. And I know you think it has contradictions, and I know that all the standard ones you think that you have and all that, and I have all my reasons for thinking the Quran has contradictions. I mean, I know the back and forth claims. We've done this for years, you've done this for years. I'm just saying, with what he said, I think there's something more for both of us than simply, that's distasteful to me. I don't think that makes sense, right? There's got to be something behind your reason for being a Muslim beyond, I like it.
Are you done?
I just want to add an example. So because I mentioned, like Muhammad and Aisha. So if I said, I find that problematic or something like that, if you somehow showed that Islam is true, in my mind, the way I think, I would be like, okay, well, if this is from God and I've got a problem with that, then I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one with the problem,
All right.
and I need to believe God. So yeah, that's all he's saying. If God says, hey, I'm entering creation,
Who are we?
then
Who are we?
So, just now, I want to understand and I want to have a productive conversation here, okay? First thing, what the misconception that I think you might have that I'd like to clarify is if you come, I'm here to present Islam to you, okay? And if you decide that there is some core concept, like the marriage of Aisha is not an Aqidah concept, right? So that's something totally different, right? But a core concept of Islamic Aqidah, Allah is one, okay? Allah sent prophets, Allah sent books, Allah sent guidance, Allah is merciful, Allah will judge, there's the day of judgment, there is, if you believed that was something problematic to you, I would present it, then I would tell you it's up to you. Hidayah is not from me. Guidance, I'm translating, is not from me, it's from Allah. Allah gives guidance, right? Ma alayna illa balaghul mubin. It is not upon us except to convey the message clearly, right? So, if you disagree with something in the core Aqidah of Islam, you have the right not to believe. Go enjoy your day at Balboa Park. I'm not pushing. You feel me, David? Okay. You feel me, Crook? Good.
Sure.
All right. No, I'm not done, bro. Let me continue. I listened to both of you the whole time. I didn't even get to his answer yet. Thank you.
I
All
thought
right.
you were done.
No, I'm not. All right. So now, when we get to the core concept of God coming into the womb of a woman and being born and then being sacrificed for our sins, so he takes the sins of mankind, and instead of us being responsible, to me, all of that makes no sense. Right? To me, personally, it doesn't make sense. To me, I don't believe that's from God. Right? I don't believe that's a just God, that somebody pays for everybody else's sins, right? To me, that's not just, and I have a core hard belief that Allah is just. Okay? So, in that case, if you are here to present Christianity, no thank you, have a nice day.
So, by the same token, because again, I mean, all we're doing now is exchanging, feelings.
We're not...
You said that certain things are contrary to your particular constitution, right? Your makeup causes you to, I have that same feeling towards Islamic beliefs, and I've tried to be gracious in this. I know what you find, disreputable with respect to Christianity. But I equally look at things in Islam and I say, for example, that to me is quite questionable.
Like?
For example, the idea that Allah has loins. Have you ever heard this claim?
You want me to tell you, or you want to finish first?
So I'll finish. Here, the idea that Allah has loins as part of his characteristics, his sifat, that he has a shin, that this is going to be an identifiable sifat, attribute, that by which people are going to believe in him on the final day. A number of other notions associated with that. I find problematic the notion of a religion that would object to God entering into his creation, even though in various Islamic sources it seems to borrow from Jewish and Christian beliefs the things that you're objecting to, like Allah entering into his creation. Does Allah not descend to the lowest heavens in the third part of the night? Does Allah, did he not speak to Moses at the right side of Mount Sinai, Surah 19, Surah 20, 27, 28? Do we not find these beliefs? So you find objectionable that God entered into his creation. I'm saying God's always present with his creation. The virgin birth is not God entering into his creation. It's God now taking into union with himself a human nature and living a real human life, including all of the experiences that go along with that, being born, suffering, dying, rising again, and so forth. So just remember, here's the basic point, right? Well, even if you don't agree with my illustrations here, right? My basic point is this. Just because you don't like those ideas doesn't mean I don't like certain ideas in Islam. And there has to be more to it than just, I don't like that, you don't like that, This isn't like, doesn't Muhammad in the Quran say, let us reason, let us argue, let us debate? Didn't Muhammad have debates with the Christians of Najran? Those are all aspects of, now just so you know, just so you know, don't laugh.
Should I start taking notes, because we're going on like 10 points? I want to take notes on each point. So I'm saying, like, instead of going point by point, we're going to loins.
What
and
do you want him to respond to?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my last point.
Okay.
This is actually something I like about Islam, so don't take this away from me.
All right.
The fact that Muslims, in contrast to other religions, are so willing to engage.
Excellent.
It's the one thing, not the one thing. I'm not going to say there's nothing
I'm
else.
sure you like a lot of things about Islam.
So, what I'm saying is,
you like the beer?
I
You
know
you like Islam, man.
He likes it. He goes make dua to Allah at the end.
I'm telling you the truth. Listen to this. You can put this on your YouTube channel.
Don't worry.
When I look, when I look at a Jewish person, sometimes I think, I wonder if he'd like to talk to me about religion, about the Lord.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I look at another person, Hindu. Yeah, he's probably going to be upset that I'm interrupting his walk down the road.
Right.
I look at a Muslim. I say, he'll talk to me.
Yeah.
He'll talk to me. He'll argue with me. He'll reason with me.
You know what? And to respond to that compliment, first off, I also appreciate the fact that Christians and Muslims can usually have a civil conversation. All right? So, second, just to make it clarification, you said Muhammad said in the Quran. The Quran's not the words of Muhammad, so that's...
Yeah, but I know that's not your...
So, I'm just clarifying. Muhammad doesn't say anything in the Quran. The Quran speaks to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so I don't think he was speaking to himself. So let's move forward from there. Secondly, you made a lot of things like loins and sifat and shin. So I don't know if you want me to get into all of that, because see, that's what I'm saying. Like I want to say point by point and not have jumps here and there. No. Let me. Come on, man. You spoke.
I'm not trying to cut him off.
Go ahead. Let's be gracious to our guests that came from so far away.
It's not me trying to cut you off. I'm just saying I didn't need you to respond to those points. I'm just.
You do.
Those were illustrations.
No, but they're wrong.
But, okay.
So I do need to respond
But what I'm
to
saying is, you can say they're wrong, but I didn't bring them up in order for us to resolve those.
I know, but
I'm saying those are things I find
see,
objectionable
Anthony,
in the Islamic sources.
Crook, bro.
Shooter.
If that's what I'm saying. So if I'm having this conversation and suddenly I'm like, there's an alien sitting over there, and you're like, what? And I'm like, no, don't respond to that. No, when you throw misconceptions out, then I have to respond to them, just like Lewis, right? So
let's talk about the lines in the shin.
Okay, excellent. Let's get there. Okay. But let's go back to the first point, because then we're just jumping, right? As a lot of Christians do, but I'm hoping we will not, right? You're saying God was always present, so Jesus by himself in his creation, so that Jesus coming in the womb of the Mary was not something new, which really is something baffling to me. Are you saying God physically, like Jesus physically was in the womb of Mary, is in your private? I mean, is that your belief?
Yes, please. We don't believe that God is a physical being as to his divine nature.
Okay.
So
God is not physical.
I'm not sure why that's funny. But do you guys think God is physical?
Do you want me to respond now? Or?
Somebody's laughing.
Okay, so let me. You want me to respond? You asked a question. You want me to answer it then?
No, not yet then.
Okay.
Let me just say this real quick.
All right,
I don't
go ahead.
think that God's divine nature is a tangible stuff. I don't think that God is. We can't touch him, smell him, feel him, see him. He doesn't have extension in space.
Will you see God?
So, by virtue of the incarnation,
in the day of judgment.
By virtue of the incarnation, God has taken on human form.
So he is physical.
His human nature, which he assumed in the womb of the Virgin Mary, is physical.
So God...
That shouldn't be puzzling.
It is puzzling. It is puzzling. It's still puzzling.
We shouldn't be learning it right now.
I've heard it many times. It's still, if somebody tells me 2 + 2 is 5, they could tell me that 100 times. It'll still be puzzling to me.
Yeah, I don't think
look, I'm making a statement about my understanding, so don't think it's a false analogy. I'm saying, to me, if somebody was to tell me 2 and 2 is 5, it would be puzzling even if I heard it a million times. I'm talking about myself, so it's not a false analogy. Let me explain to you. I'm talking about my feelings there, guy. Calm down there. All right? Now,
2 + 2 aren't your feelings.
How I feel about that is my feelings.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This guy just can't, man.
This guy.
All right.
This guy.
So,
Let it go. He did have a lot to respond to.
No,
thank you, Dave. Man, yeah, I can't believe Mr. Hammer's the one that actually is. I appreciate it. You're the good guy. Wow.
Even it out though.
We cool, man. I'm waiting for sound, but it's all right. Asumu, I'm sorry. Asumu.
His name
Asumu.
is,
Just so you know, I can't control Sam.
Oh, I bet you can.
And let me say this, his name is Sam. There are people who intentionally call him by his full name when he prefers to go by Sam.
What did his parents
and
name him?
It's intended to be insulting.
Oh, I didn't mean to
Sam.
insult.
I'm not saying he's
Okay.
insulted.
Okay.
I'm just telling you that people that perhaps have told you to call him that
Nobody told me to call
might
him
not have either known or might have known.
What did his parents name him?
I'm assuming his full name is Hasamu. I'm not saying he takes that offensive.
Okay, if he doesn't, that's all good. If he does, I won't call him that.
I'm just telling you that.
So let's go back to, so when you say that God manifested in the womb of a woman into a human form, and then that was God inside the womb. So God was physically a baby in the womb of a mother, and then God, the creator of the universe, who's still all together, physically came out of the womb of a mother. To me, again, that, and I don't know if anybody else finds that troubling, but
what's the troubling part? What's the argument?
all of it. It's not an argument. Again,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Can I ask one question for clarification? And this is just, I just want to know what you're saying. Are you saying that God can't do that, or he just wouldn't do that?
Excellent.
Because there's a difference. There's things I can't do and things I just wouldn't do.
Agreed. So, when we talk about God, and you guys have debated with atheists, so you already know that whole God can't lift a rock thing, right? That there are certain things that are against the nature of the greatness of God as it is, right? From that God, if you can say, can God made a rock he can't lift? Well, it's not really a question that you ask, because from the nature of God is greatness, right? That he's able to do all things, right? So it's like saying, can Anthony be a man and woman at the same time? Which now we're in California, but it ain't happening, bro, right? Right? So that there's right. So from the nature, they're one or the other, whatever they think they are. All right. So, all right. So here we go to me, that goes against the nature of God, right? Because this is something that is human, born from wombs and breastfeeding and burping and peeping and pooping. This is not something I can attribute to God. right? In my belief, right? In what I understand to be correct. Again, and I love to have a conversation, and we're having a conversation, but like I said, I'm not going to force Islamic belief on you. If you have an issue with the creed, aqidah, then you have the right not to believe it. It's your right. Allah will judge between me and you. It's not a problem, right? But my job is to present, okay? So in your presentation that I asked you for, and I appreciate the presentation that God physically, not, by seeing or sight, was in the womb of a woman, came out of vaginas. That's against the nature of God in what I see. Okay, that again, that's my personal belief.
So just to give the simple version, when he asked, can he do it or would he do it? Which one of those were you addressing there? So to me, it sounded like you, in some sense, were addressing both. But I think the fundamental claim is that he can't do it. It's against his nature.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Is that right? Sure. I mean, as an example, like if you were to ask me, can God ride a bicycle? Right. I would say, well, I don't think he would, but he could if he wanted to. For some reason, God could take on a form and ride a bicycle. Just like, if you're talking about, the Quran and Allah speaking on the fire, I don't know what you believe there. I believe God could do that.
I do too.
So there's that distinction.
Sure.
I believe God can enter into his creation in the form of a human being, or God's more along the lines of, well, I have the power to do that, but there's no way I would do that. It's beneath me, or something like that.
So let me just give you an example, right? And I think it'll clarify that. Do you believe God would have sexual intercourse with a woman?
I believe God has the power to do that if he wanted to, but he wouldn't want to because of his moral nature.
Thank you. So let's say a wife. That's not immoral to have sex with a wife, right? I mean, you have a wife, I'm assuming. So I'm sure you have intercourse, right?
Lots.
Right. Although she might watch the video and put a different comment, make it easy, right?
Yeah, she'll say
all right.
lots.
So now the point there being that that's not immoral, right? So would God do that? Get wife and have sex with her?
Yeah, but again, it's not a question of power or ability. It's a question of he wouldn't.
It's against his nature, right?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. I'm asking you, if somebody was to ask you, can God get married and have sex with a woman? What would you
clarify, say, as far as power, God has the ability to do anything that doesn't entail a contradiction or a couple of qualifications like that. As far as things that he would actually do, he's not going to contradict his own moral nature.
Thank you. So I would say again, God would not contradict his own nature by being born out of the vagina of a woman.
And
so we're on the same page.
When you say that he wouldn't contradict his nature, you're thinking more in terms of metaphysical quality. And what I mean here is just his greatness, for example. You're not thinking mostly in terms of moral categories. You're thinking in terms of greatness. This sort of thing is beneath him. I think is that correct?
Want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I gave the answer exactly with the analogy that I gave, right? Okay. Just like Anthony, if I was to ask you, right, as I asked David, could God get a wife and have sexual intercourse with her? You would say that's against the nature of God. I'm assuming, right?
So what I would say.
What would you say?
That's why I was trying to clarify.
Go ahead.
Were you making it more metaphysical or moral? My answer is, would God do this sort of thing? You're saying it's contrary to his greatness, and my whole point is precisely that's why Jesus needed to become a human being, because the sorts of things that Jesus did are otherwise outside of the parameters of what is possible within his divine nature. God, for example, cannot die. How could he die then unless he took a human nature, right? So what I'm getting at is you're not presenting a contradiction so much that God couldn't do this. You just think that your God wouldn't do this. So it's not so much a metaphysical problem as it is for you something else. That's what it seems to me.
Yeah. So you are saying that God could and
did
have sex with a woman?
If Jesus wanted to get married, absolutely. Do you think it's contrary to the nature of God for people to have these? So let me put it this way.
You're saying God did have sex with a woman?
No.
So when I was saying you jumped out, right?
No, that's not all I said.
So
he said yes before you finished.
So you see?
You said.
Come on, even it out. Come on.
So you see why you should let me finish before you say yes?
You said
Right, David?
Yeah,
right, David?
No.
See, it's too late. You just You're Muslim,
Okay.
right?
Should we do the Shahada now or later?
No, so listen. So that's.
Look,
I don't think that's
why don't you let me finish what I'm saying before you respond?
Okay,
How
go
about
ahead,
that?
but I know
Because
what you were saying.
no, you didn't.
Go ahead.
Because
Go
I
ahead.
was saying, do you think God could have sex with a woman? And you said he did.
Okay.
What?
No, that's
What,
true.
Anthony?
If-
That's
no,
true?
You're right. If you're right, man.
No,
What are we doing?
That's fine.
just-
No, that's good.
I think you
I
said,
thought you.
Yeah, I thought you said. Again, I think you added something on after you started answering, but you
Because
you,
I hadn't
you were
finished,
Saying, yeah,
that's all.
you were saying. Do you
I
think
didn't
God,
add anything.
Do you think God could have sex with a woman? And Anthony was saying, if that were part of his plan, that once he had entered creation as Jesus of Nazareth, then
Okay.
as a human being, he would have the ability to do that. Something
So,
like
so let me say this.
Interesting. That's a new thing too. I've never heard a Christian say that before.
Let me
So
explain something. Can I say
man.
this? No, I didn't
Go
get
ahead.
to finish because we got.
But see, he and then.
You're answering him, so maybe
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, come on. We can have fun here.
Okay,
guys.
go ahead.
This doesn't
Have fun.
to
Let's
be
have
a-
fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. So let me explain something about our view of morality. And I don't know where you're at on this. With
We'll find out.
In terms of the nature of man, right? Obviously, we all agree man's a creature. He's dependent on God, doesn't exist apart from God. Would stop to exist if God willed him to stop existing, right? Man, if God willed for man to stop existing, he would stop existing, right?
Do you want me to?
No, but what I'm getting at is this. We believe man was made in the image of God, and so man is to reflect God in his character. Image doesn't mean man looks like God, right? That's not what we mean. But we believe that man has certain characteristics that are, man, unlike other creatures, can reason, can know his creator, can worship him, at least in the way that man can. That's not true. Other creatures, I'm not saying everything glorifies God. We all agree on that, right? What I'm getting at is the morality that we have is a reflection of what God is like. The reason we're to have no other gods is because there are no other gods, right?
Good. I'm with that.
That's the
One
first
God.
commandment, right?
No kids.
Second
No
commandment-
parents.
Second commandment is don't worship idols or worship God. We would say, in fact, if you're Salafi, you're closer to my view on this. We're not to worship God in any other way other than what He has commanded. Right? We agree on that.
I'm
right?
just listening.
Right. Okay. I think we agree on that. I'm just gonna tell you. Like we can't.
You're Salafi?
things. We can't. You could say I'm a Salafi version of Christianity.
We agree that if
I
we were,
don't-
we agree that if we were Muslims, we'd probably be Salafi.
How about this? How about we agree? When you become Muslim, you'll become Salafi. How's that?
You become reformed.
Reformed in Islam. All right, go ahead.
So what I'm getting at then is that what we have in morality are a reflection of what God expects us to be like as His creatures, as His image bearers.
I'm going to disagree, but I'm going to let you finish out of respect.
But so you understand, the reason why I say that there's nothing that God approves of, that if He became a human being, He would live by that same law. He would reflect that in His character. He wouldn't be an atheist.
So let me-
He wouldn't be an idolater.
I mean, that didn't make sense, right? How could you be atheist and you are God, right?
Exactly.
So let me.
So I'm telling you, it reflects.
Can I
His
respond
character.
now?
But this responds to you. This responds to you asking if God became a human being. At least this is what I was thinking you were asking. Would this be possible for Him to do? And I'd say yes.
Okay.
Okay, now he gets 3 minutes or whatever.
It's all right.
Okay,
It's all right.
that's good.
Let's just
I
go.
didn't know you were timing it. I thought
All right.
That's actually
All right,
good.
listen.
That's actually a good.
That's good. That's
It's
good.
okay. You guys can speak. Don't worry about it.
You're definitely going to want to do that when Sam comes over.
He speaks.
Yeah.
He yaps a lot.
You say like 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Everybody.
2 minutes, something like that.
David Wood is saying Sam yaps a lot. I got you.
Talk your ears off, just so you know.
I gotta invite you for tea, man. You're cool. All right. And you too, Anthony.
Thank you.
We gotta even it out.
you. Oh,
even
yeah,
it out.
even
All
it
right.
out.
All right. So God, the Creator, has His set of rules that are separate from us, the creation. Okay. Even if God, na'udhu billah, like we seek refuge from Allah from this kind of thing, even if you try to say that God was on earth, I don't believe that God needed to poop or pee or rest or get angry and lose his senses as humans do. For example, no, let me finish, Anthony. There is what we call pleading insanity. Right? Like if you go to court and let's say you're married, like for example, and you come home and you find some dude in bed with your wife, and you're like, this is crook, homie. Like you get crazy on him, you beat him, right? And you go to court, and they say, hey, you know what? You beat a person. You will say, well, I was out of my senses. In a human court, we would accept that. We would say, hey, temporary insanity. We plead insanity, right? We would accept because that's humans, right? So that's moral because you didn't know what you were doing. I don't believe that that's God's morality. God's above all of that. Let me finish, Anthony. What am I at, right?
1.5.
1.5, right? So when God created humans, he made the rules and regulations like marriage and inheritance and sexual intercourse and needs and desires, and sex is a desire. Getting hungry, getting tired, losing your senses because you're so hungry you need to eat. Those are human qualities. We don't give those to Allah. So that's why we would not agree on that point.
But you didn't even represent my point accurately.
Oh, okay.
My point
I thought you did.
My point had to do with morality, and
I did too. I talked about morality. For example, somebody pleading insanity, we morally accept.
But I don't think we should morally accept that.
Really? Okay, so let me understand your point.
A person is either, if a person happens upon somebody sleeping with his wife, he's either justified in taking the person's life or he isn't.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Anthony, you come home,
Yeah, I'm saying.
and you some dude in bed with your wife. What would you do?
He's either justified.
What would you
in doing
do?
it- Well, but that's a different question.
Why? You don't want to answer it now, Anthony?
No, we're asking about the question of what's moral. It's not what would you do.
Okay, so what would you do? Because you would act
I
morally.
don't think I'm the standard of morality, right?
Well, I think you're somebody who tries to be moral. I hope.
Of course.
Do you try to live a moral life?
But both of us recognize we're creatures.
Okay.
We make mistakes.
Exactly.
We're fallible, we're sinful.
Exactly.
Yes.
And God is not.
Right.
So
As part of
those
as
feelings.
God, he's
Good.
He's eternal.
Perfect.
Immutable.
He
all
doesn't
those
get
things.
hungry.
That's right.
He doesn't get tired.
But
He doesn't need to go to the
those aren't
bathroom.
moral issues.
No, but this again. So that's the thing. He doesn't lose his ability to judge, right? Okay.
I wouldn't say
So
that
if
Jesus did.
so when a human being does at certain times, right?
But you're
And morally,
you're talking about morality.
I'm talking about morality, Anthony.
You're talking about pooping and peeing.
No. Let's talk about this, okay? Let's say somebody he is unable to. Are you looking over there or looking over here?
I heard that.
All right.
I'm protecting you.
Don't worry about it.
I'm making
Allah
sure-
protects us. Don't worry about it.
But
Got
maybe
it?
he protects you by using this catheter.
A future Muslim, inshallah. Tell you. All right. So let's take this, okay? You get somebody moral, right? A moral human being, okay?
You think
goes.
Jesus was moral?
I believe Isa ibn Maryam was very moral.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, if you take a moral human being, as a human being, he can make mistakes, right? Human beings can't make mistakes.
Yeah, but that's a
Wow.
false.
Wow. I just said as a
Does-
human being we can make mistakes.
No, but you were saying you were using this to talk about Jesus.
You
I'm
brought
saying
Jesus.
no.
I'm saying as a human
But
being.
Jesus did not.
Okay, so let's just talk about humans.
Do you think Jesus sinned at all, according to the Quran?
I don't believe that I have any hadith or ayah in the Quran that mentions
But we agree
Jesus.
on that.
Let me finish. Jesus sinning, but could he, as a human being, make a mistake in judgment? He could. Any human being can.
Does the Quran
Right?
say that? That Jesus
Sure.
could make a mistake?
So let me explain it, right? خلق الإنسان ضعيفا, for example, right? Insan has weaknesses. That's in the Quran. And Jesus, if you and me, and at least as a Muslim, I can say he was an insan, he was human, then the Quran tells that he has weaknesses. But Allah has no weaknesses. Separation. Right? Now you feel me. So as a human being, we make mistakes. We make lapses in judgment that morally we're not held accountable for. Right? That's a lapse in judgment. We're talking about morality now. I'll give you another example. You're driving, right? And you are going a certain speed. You see somebody crossing. You think that at a certain break point, you're good. You try to brake, but you still hit them. It's an accident. Right? You made a lapse in judgment. You go to court, you say, I tried, they came out of nowhere, I tried to brake as best as I could, I made a lapse in judgment, and the court tells you, you know what, you made a lapse in judgment, but it's not a sin. It's not a criminal act. You didn't intend for it to be. So you get a pass because you're human. God is not like that. God is perfect. God's judgments are perfect. He doesn't have that human shortcoming of lapse in judgment.
Okay, and my response to that is, you're working in terms of an understanding of human nature from the Christian perspective, which is post-fall. Man
Post
is
what?
not post-fall. You know that we don't agree on the fall.
Hold
But
on.
you know what that is, right? The fall. God made man. God made Adam.
Okay.
Adam sinned against God.
Okay.
God didn't make Adam as that already guilty individual. Adam was upright.
Okay, I just want to understand this then. So God made Adam, right? And he had the ability to make judgments.
Yes.
And he, can I finish, bro? So when he chose to eat, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I'm getting at is, you're taking what's true of mankind by virtue of the fall, and you're now applying that to Jesus. See, I don't think Jesus made errors in judgment. I don't think he made moral mistakes. I don't think he made any mistakes. And I don't think the Quran says he does. In fact, I think the Quran makes him an exception to the rule. So all I'm getting at is these sorts of arguments against the incarnation don't really work. When we say that God became man, and you object and say, but God can't eat, and I'm saying you're missing the point. He's eating because he became man. It's only if God can't become man that he can't eat. So that's not an argument against the idea that God could become man. And so all you're giving me are arguments that presuppose or beg the question against the incarnation. You understand what I'm saying? At least what I think, you know.
Again, so let's go back to this again, right? Saying that God needs to go to the bathroom, right? To me, is against the nature of God. He doesn't have needs. He doesn't. Let me finish now, bro. How long was that, right?
I'm putting my finger
All right,
up.
you keep your finger up the whole time. How about that, right? There you go.
Don't you have that
it's
on
a shahada
your,
finger.
yeah?
Like, take a picture. Future Muslim right here. I feel you. All right. So now, when you say God having to go to the bathroom is against the point, that is the point, that God doesn't have those weaknesses that humans have. Those are against the nature of God. To have to use the bathroom, to have to sleep because he's tired, to have to worry about making the right judgment because he hasn't had enough nutrition. Those things, to me, those things and God's perfect nature cannot mix, just as we would say, at least David said, that it would be against the nature of God to get married and have sex, and you said it would be, so I don't know, you guys can work that out at home, but I think that is not the nature of God to have those necessities.
Now, you're only reiterating the point that I was asking you to address. The issue that we're trying to discuss is whether or not God could become man. God could become incarnate. You're raising objections that presuppose that he couldn't already. Okay, so that's not an argument against it. That's known in logic as begging the question. And so you're saying God as God doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, doesn't die. I agree. It's by virtue of the incarnation that God eats, sleeps, dies, and so forth. So that's not an argument against the possibility of God becoming man. That's an argument that assumes he couldn't become man. Okay? So for example, if our argument was, could I get married and have children? And then, you know, you're arguing that I can't, and I'm arguing that I can. And you keep arguing that you can't get married and have children because right now you don't have any children, you're not married, and so forth. Right? That wouldn't be an argument against whether I could or couldn't get married and have children. It'd just be an argument that right now I'm not married and couldn't have children. So what I'm asking you to address is the fundamental point: could God become incarnate? Not repeat. If God would be going to the bathroom, God would eat, God would sleep, God would die, God would rise again, right, victorious over death, as proof against the incarnation, because that all presupposes the incarnation, and it begs the question that we're actually trying to get to the bottom of.
Okay, so let me say this again, because I think when me and David were talking, you kind of zoomed out because I addressed. So the question here, again, gets to be one of those things that, can God make a rock he can't lift? Well, we would answer that by saying that's against the nature of God being all-powerful, right?
I would say no. I would say that's
God can?
No. It makes no sense to
exactly.
No. Listen, I'm saying that those two things. You know, a rock so heavy, making a rock so heavy you can't lift it.
Yes.
You're asking if he can perform illogical feats are not feats at all.
Thank you.
That's what you're asking.
Exactly.
But
that's my point.
I don't think I don't think that God becoming a human being
is exactly the same thing.
You do,
right? Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking you to
Excellent.
to demonstrate that.
Excellent.
So all you're doing is begging the question.
No, I'm not. Let me explain it again, okay? When I asked David, for example, could we say that God gets a wife and has sex and has children and things like that? You said that would be against the nature of God, right?
I meant like God just...
Yeah, so we're just talking about God.
Like,
yeah, I'll give you an example, right? And I think it'll clarify this, right? Do you believe God would have sexual intercourse with a woman?
I believe God has the power to do that if he wanted to, but he wouldn't want to because of his moral nature.
Thank you.
I agree with Anthony's answer that if God had decided after the incarnation to do that, then he'd be able to do
now
that sort of thing.
we're saying God could get married and have sex and have children.
I would say if God wanted to do that, and that was part of his eternal plan or something.
So let me ask you. Let me ask.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
When I asked David, for example, could we say that God gets a wife and has sex and has children and things like that? You said that would be against the nature of God, right?
I meant like God just.
Yeah, so we're just talking about God.
Like,
Yeah, I'll give you an example, right? And I think it'll clarify this, right? Do you believe God would have sexual intercourse with a woman?
I believe God has the power to do that if he wanted to, but he wouldn't want to because of his moral nature.
Thank you.
I agree with Anthony's answer that if God had decided after the incarnation to do that, then he'd be able to do that sort of thing.
Now we're saying God could get married and have sex and have children.
I would say if God wanted to do that, and that was part of his eternal plan or something.
So let me
like
ask
that,
you. Let me ask you a simple question, right? Because let's say a guy comes up to you right now at Balboa Park, right? There's all kinds of religions here, right? And he comes and tells you, "Hey, God's married to my mom and has sex with her every night," right? For example, right? Would you believe that?
You know the answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
My answer would be this, and I think this is something that we should have been discussing already.
Excellent.
We believe that we don't know anything about God apart from God's own voluntary revelation of himself.
Excellent.
So we are all beholden to him. Right?
Okay.
We are dependent on him for life and breath as well as anything we know about him. Right? And anything we know about him that's true is what he's told us. Anything we think we know independently of that is not something we can know to be true. Now, so what I'm getting at is, in the Bible, God revealed himself through the prophets and prepared the world for just what happened in the incarnation.
Okay.
When it says in Galatians 4, for example, that in the fullness of time God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, made under the law, so that he might redeem those who were under the law, right? This is the point of the incarnation. When he says that, this happened in the fullness of time, he's saying that this is the outworking, the culmination, the fulfillment of what had been revealed through the prophets in long ages past. Among those passages that teach that, you have, for example, and I know you've heard some of these, Isaiah 9:6, that he would be the mighty God. Jeremiah 23:6 said that the child that would be born would be Jehovah our righteousness. Malachi 5:2 says that he would be the one whose origins are eternal, right? He has no beginning, no end. He's from of old. So those are the sorts of things that, for me, are necessary in order to adopt this belief, so that when he fulfills these things, I say, okay, that's the one who was announced. This guy popping up out of the middle of nowhere is not showing up in the fullness of time.
Okay.
He's not fulfilling prior prophecy.
Okay.
He's not doing the sorts of things that the Old Testament shows God could do. God appeared to Abraham in Genesis 18. God appeared to Moses in Exodus 3, to numerous prophets. In the Christian view, those things were not only not impossible for God, he revealed that these were possibilities and that they would be a future actuality when Jesus became flesh.
So, Anthony, with all due respect, that was just preacher mode, right? Now, the question again is about that possibility. So if somebody comes and tells you that, right, other than saying that it's not in the Bible, right, which obviously it's not because this is post-Bible, would you say conceptually that makes sense, that God comes, got married to his mom, and hits it every night?
In principle, I've already answered you saying that the incarnation happened.
Okay.
God became flesh in the womb of Mary and was born of her.
So you're saying
fulfilled the prophetic scriptures.
Okay.
You're asking me if some guy popped up out of the blue.
Yes.
I think it would be a natural reaction to that sort of thing if you don't have word from God, century after century, preparing the world for this very event.
Gotcha.
So when it happens, and then that man, on top of everything else, lives a perfect life.
So again, you're avoiding the question.
That's not avoiding the question. This is the logic of Christianity. This is how
that's the problem.
Well, you think it's a problem, but you've yet to demonstrate it. You beg the question, but you haven't answered it.
Look, it's a very simple question, bro. And you're going all around it, right? The thing is, you know, and I know, that, and David knows as well.
Do a Jedi mind trick now?
No, you don't see me here, right?
So,
you know, and let's be honest, right?
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, right? If some dude walks up right now and tells you that, you're going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? You're going to tell them God doesn't come and get married to your mom. You're just making this stuff up, right? This is something that is not in scripture. You would go into your whole thing, but you would not believe that because you know that's not the nature of God to be getting a wife here and a wife there and having kids here and half there. God is above all of that, right?
You're disputing beliefs to me, though. You're disputing
Can I add a possible example? Okay, because I think. Well, let me give you an example. If someone came up to me and said that they have a time machine in their pocket,
okay,
I would not believe it for a second.
Okay,
it's not because I don't believe it's possible. It's just I believe that's extraordinarily unlikely, and you would have to provide me with some very good evidence.
Excellent. Okay,
for that, right?
Good.
If someone came up to me and they said they have a square circle in their pocket, I would regard that as impossible.
Thank you.
So
we're with it.
Yeah. So what
when you get with it, then I'll give you.
Those are two things. One is it's extraordinarily improbable given everything else I believe.
Right.
That's one thing. And then there's things that I would just regard as possible. If you say, hey, there's a married bachelor over there, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
If you say, but so anyway.
That's good. That's a good, excellent example.
If someone were to come up and say, something about someone being incarnate or something like that. Now we're Christians, so we believe in that revelation. We believe in the revelation we have. Right. So we don't believe that sort of thing is going to happen. So we would dismiss it on that. As far as
you would dismiss it on basically your belief.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let me respond to. Come on, bro. Can I respond to him now, man? Okay.
Well, I wasn't finished.
Okay, go ahead, David. I'm not.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, in other words, since we're Christians, we believe that God has sent his revelation and there's no more incarnations or anything coming along, right? So we would say, we're Christians, we believe that. But if we weren't Christians and we were just saying, hey, if God has the power to do what he wants, if God wanted to enter creation and do this, our point is we wouldn't say, I reject that because it's an impossibility or a contradiction. We would say, that sounds really far-fetched, so you're going to have to give me some really good evidence. We wouldn't regard it as a contradiction. In other words, Anthony's point, what he was saying about all this background knowledge and prophecies and so on, is he's saying we do have good evidence, and so that's why we would dismiss it. Because if someone just came along and said, "Hi, I'm Jesus. I'm the divine Son of God who entered into creation," we would say, "No, what are you talking about, man?"
Excellent. Can I speak now, bro? Are you done? All right, thank you, Ken. So that is exactly the point. To me, as a Muslim, and this is what we're discussing here, to me, to say God is a part of the creation in the sense that he is human, that he goes to the bathroom, that he has to go to that he has those human flaws that Jesus would have had as a human being, not moral flaws, right? But we're talking about just physical flaws that we have as humans. To me, is just like you saying a square circle. To me, I see no difference in that. It's apples and oranges, right? Humans, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانَ ضَعِيفًا, right? Humans have these weaknesses, right? Even if you take Adam before the fall, right? Obviously, he had some inclination to make a mistake, and that's why he ate from the tree that he shouldn't have, right? So that means by nature, even before the fall, he had that weakness to make that mistake. But Allah doesn't. The Creator does not. The Creator does not cry out and say, "My God, my God." This is a human attribute where you are calling out to your Creator, right? Now, if the Creator is God himself, he doesn't call out to himself. He doesn't say, "My God." Like you never see the Father in the Bible saying, "My God," right? David?
So,
let him. I asked David, bro. Anthony, take it. Is your name David? I said right, David?
So, when we were talking, he was just...
Oh, he made a point, so I was responding to his point, but you're going to...
He made a good point, I agree with you.
All right.
I'll take that as a response to me.
Well, I was going to jump in with another example.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so something that I don't know your beliefs about the Quran. And I'm not changing subject.
Did you get my question, though?
Yeah, I've got it for like the last.
No, I just asked you a question right now.
Yeah, it would make sense for the Father to cry out, my God, right?
Why?
Apart from becoming incarnate.
Yeah, apart from becoming...
No, I'm saying for the Father.
Yeah. Right.
Do you ever see the Father saying, "My God"?
He refers to the Son.
Can I speak? Man, David, you got like a ridiculous or something? Like you pull strings?
Why are you so afraid to hear
I'm not. I will talk to you.
It's not like I'm going to let you talk too.
I'm going to let him talk first, and then I'll talk to you. I've been talking to you this whole time. So the question, David, is: do you ever find the Father saying, "My God"?
He calls Jesus God.
My God?
No, if you're talking about Jesus crying out, "My God," you say no. The Father doesn't do that, right?
Okay,
Right,
okay.
we don't believe.
Gotcha. So the Father, then this is the nature of the Creator. He doesn't call out. He is the one you call out to. That's the nature of God. And the nature of humans is we have weaknesses, so we call out to our Creator. Right? This is the exact point you're missing. Right? Humans have those shortcomings, those needs, those necessities that the Creator doesn't. So the Creator doesn't call out and says, my God, why have you forsaken me? But a human would.
Yeah, and so this, yeah, I
was
yeah,
human.
Yeah, and so.
But he was God,
I just wanted.
He became flesh.
But he was completely God.
You don't realize you're begging the question.
No.
Yeah,
I'm making a very clear distinction.
So,
Go ahead.
So I don't know exactly what you believe about the Quran and the speech.
I believe in the
speech of
Quran,
Allah and
the
so on.
Kalam of Allah.
Yeah. But lots of Muslims tell me that Allah's speech is eternal, co-eternal with Allah.
Sure.
And this isn't. I'm not changing the subject here. This is an example. This is an example of what we're talking about.
I'm listening.
So, if the Quran is Allah's eternal speech, then if you were to say, hey, does it make sense does the Quran have a beginning? Something like that. I would say, no, if it's eternal, then it has no beginning.
You're right.
If you said, can it be corrupted? I would say, no, it's divine. It can't be corrupted, right? So if you were to ask these kinds of questions, I would say, as far as the eternal speech of Allah or an attribute of God, I would say those kinds of things, it doesn't make sense to raise those kinds of questions, right? But if you were to say to me that we have a physical Quran, right?
Excellent.
This doesn't have the Arabic in it, but assuming this had the Arabic in it, that we have a physical copy of the Quran.
Excellent.
Then it seems like the physical copy of the Quran would kind of have two natures. It's the eternal speech of Allah, and yet it's entered our world because we have a physical world. It's entered our world as a physical book made of paper and glue and ink. And therefore, if you were to ask me, does it make sense to talk about this as having a beginning, or about this being corrupted and changed and so on, then I would say, yes, it's a physical book. Of course, it can fall apart. It eventually will. You mentioned earlier that people can eat it or burn it or all kinds of things. And so it makes sense to talk about a physical
weird people,
It makes sense to talk about a physical Quran. So in other words, I would say that a book that has two natures, that it's the eternal speech of Allah entered into creation in a physical form so that we can have it, it now makes sense to talk about this having a beginning, and I'm assuming it has a publication date. So it now makes sense to talk about this having a publication date. It now makes sense. It didn't make sense before when you're talking about the speech of Allah before it comes into creation. Once it enters into creation, now we can ask these questions. But if I were to take your objection seriously, I would have to say, no, it's absurd to talk about these eternal things that can't be corrupted, being corruptible, having a beginning, having an end, falling apart. That makes no sense of the eternal speech of Allah.
Excellent.
Oh no, you guys don't do music. You don't do music.
No, I'll let you play the music for us. All right.
I don't know how to play it.
Come on, learn. All right. So now, excellent answer. I appreciate that. All right. So let's go to that now. Right. The Quran is Kalam Allah. Right? The Quran will never call out to Allah. Okay? Now, in the Quran, you will never say take it easy, Anthony.
Is it true?
Hold it together, Crook. Hold it together. I will. Okay? The Quran itself is Kalam Allah. Right? The Quran responds to, for example, the Prophet ﷺ, right? But the Quran does not speak to Allah. It is the speech of Allah. Allah teaches us, for example, ad'iyah, which are called dua, supplications, for us to use to call to Allah, right? But let me finish, bro. Take it easy. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so now, when you say this has a publication date, none of us standing here as Muslims will say this is a part of the creator. Right? This here is a published book. That's why the Quran is recited and the Quran is revealed. It was never sent just like a book, right? Because then that book, once it hits the earth, then that would be part of the worldly things. That's why Imam al-Bukhari has a book called خلق أفعال العباد, where he talks about the recitation or the paper or the ink is not what is Quran. Quran is what is revealed, and before the day of judgment it will be taken up, and that revelation can never be corrupted. That revelation is always preserved, and that revelation doesn't weaken. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, when you talk about Jesus now, on the other hand, when you say that he came and he became human, but then at the same breath you say that he's always one, God is not divisible. So you're saying then that is God himself, even though he's human, and even though he is God, the Father and him are the same thing, but he's saying, oh my God, why have you forsaken me? That makes absolutely no sense.
Okay, great. So you've said the fact that Christ, the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God, by virtue of becoming human and crying out to the Father, that there's a problem with that, a logical problem, and that's not something that Islam has to deal with. Now, number one, I don't think that's a logical problem, but number two, I also don't think that's true Islamically. So I'd like you to tell me where I may have that wrong. I don't think I do.
You never know.
But I grant that you're the imam, right? So, my understanding, which I have from other Muslims, which is part and parcel of why I hold that, and have read in the Islamic sources, that the Quran itself does intercede for Muslims, or will, on the Day of Judgment, right? The Quran will appear as a pale man and will say that it was the Muslim's companion in life and will intercede for him. Is that not correct?
Can you give me a reference for that?
That's in the hadith.
Which hadith?
Seriously, you don't think I'm going to go back? I mean, like, I don't know.
Are you saying that's not in the hadith?
That is not in any authentic hadith that I've ever read.
So you'd say it's
can
not
I
authentic.
can I finish?
No, that's
Okay.
fine. If
It's
you
okay.
say it's not authentic.
Hold on, take it easy, Anthony. So, to say the Quran will appear as a pale man, and what did you say? It would be with the
Quran will intercede for Muslims and will say that it
as a pale man.
Well, that's in a Tirmidhi hadith, for example.
Let's just let's look for it. So no, hold on. Because see, I like to discuss on evidences. So can I find a hadith in a Tirmidhi that says the Quran will be a pale man? Let's just find that, and then I will explain from there.
Okay, so, but that kind of misses the point that I'm making. You're focused on the pale man part, but
Excellent.
I think you and I both know that it's classically Islamic to say the Quran will intercede for you.
So let me explain the shifa of the Quran?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Explain.
excellent. The Quran is Kalamullah. Okay? What?
You told us that part.
I know, that's part of the explanation.
Okay,
Take it
go
easy, Anthony. Okay. The Quran that is read by us, right? I mean, we read the Quran. That Kalamullah will be a evidence for us. Do you understand what that means? That the fact that we stayed up at nights and read the Quran will make shifa. It will be an intercession. It will not be asking Allah for help or asking Allah separately than anything. It is only the fact that that good deed will be an intercession for you. Like if you had read the actual hadith, it talks about the Quran and another hadith about the siyam, the fasting. Right? We don't say fasting by itself is an entity, but it's the deed that is that intercedes for you.
So does the hadith say that the deed of reciting the Quran will intercede for you, or does the hadith say the Quran will intercede
again,
for you?
so this is the thing. When you say Al-Quran was Siyam, these two will be shifa. They will be an intercession, right? So what does that mean? That it is that deed of reading the Quran. Do you understand what that means now?
I understand what you're claiming.
Okay.
That's just not what
So let's see the.
I searched for it. The first one that popped up, I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first one that popped up was in Ibn Majah.
So in Tirmidhi, there is no such hadith that says the Quran will be a pale man.
That's just the first one that popped up.
Okay, so can we look at the Tirmidhi one first?
Okay, I'll find the
I just want
Tirmidhi.
to see.
Notice the Ibn Majah version says the Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pale man, and will say, "I am the one that kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day."
Excellent, excellent. So let's now go to. Hold on, take it easy, guy.
I was trying to see. Oh, you're trying to see that?
No, take it easy. This is why.
You're not seriously going to go to Google Translate, are you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I know you know
You're
Arabic.
funny.
I know you know Arabic.
You don't have Arabic keyboard?
No.
Okay. I was just going to show you the takhrij. You know what takhrij is? Okay. The checking of the narration.
Okay.
This narration of Ibn Majah is a very weak narration.
They didn't grade it this week.
Can you show me their grading?
Yeah, it's in Hassan.
Let me see it. No, just hit back.
It's in Arabic now.
You just ruined his phone. You can't see anything.
Oh,
in
he'll
English
see
now.
it. Where does it say Hassan? No, this is Darus Salam's grading, right? So this is not sunnah.com, just a website. Okay? So
Darus Salam.
Darus Salam is a publishing
yeah.
house, right? But that's not the grading
They
of.
give the rating according to Hadith scholars, right? They're not just making it up.
No. So we need to. I know this hadith, and that's why I was telling you, right? And I can show you the weakness in it if you like. Darus Salam is a publishing house, not a scholar itself, right? Their grading by itself is not a hujjah, it's not an evidence. You have to look at the evidence from the scholars of hadith. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I asked you, right? Now, if you like, and if you, how long are you in San Diego? Let me just finish. How long are you in San Diego? Let me just finish. How long are you in San Diego?
We're leaving tonight.
Oh, no. I was going to invite you to my house. I have Ibn Majah.
Man, I appreciate the fact
Look,
that you would have invited
you got dinner, you got tea, I got you. All right? And I would sit with you and explain to you from the sharh of Ibn Majah why this hadith is da'if actually. Because I teach Aqidah and I taught the subject. Okay? In the authentic narration, and again, this is not in a Tirmidhi, by the way, anyway. Let me see the Tirmidhi riwayah you had, right? You said you had a Tirmidhi riwayah?
So I have to search for it.
I'll wait for it. In the authentic narration, it does not mention the pale man. That's why I was trying to explain to you. Rather, the Quran and its shifa is from the one who stayed up at night. So the shifa is the Quran asking intercession from the deed of you staying up nights. Do you understand the understanding there, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you look at Jesus calling out on the cross, according to the Bible that you believe in, right? Saying, oh my God, why have you forsaken me? That is not about a deed that you did. That is one entity calling out to another entities for help and asking, why have you forsaken me? Is that correct or wrong?
So that you know, I'm not saying I have any problem with that. I absolutely affirm that.
So you
the second
affirm.
person of the Trinity took on a human nature.
So he was
and
no
by
longer God.
virtue- No, he was both God and man, and by virtue of the incarnation, was able to call out to the Father as God.
Okay, so I want to understand that.
I wasn't trying to give an apology.
Okay, so I want to understand.
absolutely affirm that.
Okay, so let me understand what you affirm. You're saying Jesus came to earth and became a man.
Absolutely.
So was he that all-powerful, all-being, has no needs God at that time or not?
He was both God and man.
Again, that's like a square circle,
You can
right?
say that's like a square circle.
Because God has no needs, right?
As his divine nature. So think of it
Okay.
this way. I mean, it's not that hard, really.
It is hard because it's confusing. It's like a square circle.
You're asserting that it is. But
To me, it is.
There hasn't been a demonstration of that. What I'm getting at is as God. So as an example, you think man has a soul, man has
Yes.
a body,
Yes.
right? Your soul and your body are not the same thing. They're both you.
True.
We don't want to get into a whole tangent here.
I'm with you.
But
Keep
there are
going.
things that are true of you bodily that aren't true of you in terms of your soul or spirit,
Okay.
right? If your body dies, does your soul die?
No.
No. As Christians, we believe Christ is both God and man, just like man is body and soul.
Okay.
Right? Man has those two constituent elements.
Let me.
But so
speak.
all I'm saying is, although the attributes of Christ as God are such as he is omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, all of these things, his human attributes and qualities are most definitely character. He's in one place at one time. He gets hungry. He slept. He wept. He died.
Did he go to the bathroom?
He absolutely did.
God went to the
Yeah.
bathroom
God became flesh
and went to the
dwelt
bathroom.
among us, and
Did he get diarrhea?
Secured self. He died on the cross. What more do you want?
That's
than that?
pretty.
What more do you want than that? Huh?
You are Muslim, aren't you? This is a
Died on the
secret,
cross.
right?
You're
He got
looking-
tortured. Yeah.
Absolutely.
God got
Beard plucked
tortured.
out,
God.
his beard
Oh.
plucked out. His
Ooh.
back was whipped.
Gotcha.
Huh? Yeah.
And he
got
cried out to
tortured.
who?
He cried out to his father.
But he didn't say Father. He said God.
But
He
his
said,
father
"My
is
God."
That's
But he is God.
yes.
That
He
doesn't
is-
make sense now.
Now you're
Again,
saying it doesn't make sense.
that doesn't make
We already
sense.
talked
right?
about that
No, so-
earlier.
and it didn't make sense earlier.
No.
But let me.
Well, then it doesn't make sense to say Allah has sifat.
Of course it does.
No.
Allah's
You can't say
sifat
of
are a
course.
part of Him.
Christ
Allah's
is a part of the Father.
But Allah's
And his
sifat don't separate. Allah's sifat don't need to go to the bathroom.
The son, Allah's sifat.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Go ahead.
You believe that the Quran is the
Again,
instantiation in some
I
sense?
just told you earlier.
No, I heard what you
no,
said.
no, you didn't.
I did.
No Muslim says that this right in your hand is a part of Allah.
Well, first of all, that's not even an Arabic.
Exactly. So for you to lift this up doesn't make any sense, right?
But you knew what I meant.
I do.
This represents that.
And I will tell you, as I told David, when you didn't listen, I guess, but I'll say it again. You guys want to be? All right,
No,
there
I'm
you go.
listening
All
to you,
right.
but I'm also finding what you wanted because I can get it really quickly.
Okay, so now the issue gets to be the sifat of Allah are a part of Allah. Even if Allah reveals, you understand the difference between revealing and becoming separate, right? The sifat of Allah never have weaknesses. You can burn the written copy because that's not the Quran. The Quran is what is recited. It cannot be corrupted. Somebody can make a mistake in their reading, but their reading is not the sifat of Allah. Now Jesus saying my God
Jesus'
is
human nature is not part of his divine essence.
okay. So that's the confusing part here, because you're saying that the soul is a part of me. Without the soul, I can't exist.
Right?
Right?
That you
so
are your soul.
you are. Thank you.
soul.
So if you are your soul, and then Jesus is his soul, and you're saying that's God. So for God to be now saying my God makes that doesn't make sense.
No. But you misunderstood me.
Okay.
Christ has both a human soul and a human body, and his divine nature.
Oh,
man is
so
both body and
Christ
soul.
is three things now.
No, well, this is classic Christianity.
This is excellent.
If you're just learning this,
I'm just learning it from you
Okay, good.
because you're such a good explainer.
This is classic Chalcedonian. You've
Excellent.
heard of Chalcedon, right?
I have.
Chalcedon was a Christian creed, 451. The classic Chalcedonian statement is just like man is body and soul, God and man is one Christ.
Okay, let me just ask that. Let me just ask, because I want to understand that. Let me just okay. So Christ, according to you, he was human. He had a soul.
Real body and soul. Human.
And he was God. That's three things in Christ.
So he has all the attributes of humanity,
Okay.
body and soul, and he
Okay.
has a divine nature.
So that's what I just said, right?
So human nature and divine nature.
So he has a soul.
Absolutely.
When was his soul created?
So again, the soul of Christ,
Anthony.
it's human.
Okay, so
right?
when was his human soul created?
Christ became man when he became incarnate. In the
So
womb
the,
of
so the
Mary.
soul, it's a very simple question. It's okay. Abdurrahim. No, nobody else got in. Go ahead.
Yeah.
When was his soul created? The soul of Christ.
I'm saying that the humanity of Christ, body and soul,
Yes.
starts at the point of conception, the virgin birth.
Okay. Can you give me any reference to the Bible about when the soul of Jesus was created, as you just gave that answer, but about the soul?
So the Bible teaches that man's soul is formed along with his body. It's formed within him.
Okay,
So
man's.
Psalm 139,
Okay.
among others, talks about the fact that God knits people together in their mother's womb. This is, from the Christian perspective, the time when man himself comes into existence.
So Jesus came into existence as a man.
His human,
Okay.
yeah, his
So,
human nature.
so Jesus' soul.
Zechariah 12:10 also makes, or 12:1.
Those are not about Jesus, right? Those are general.
Those are about
Human
you
beings.
asked about souls and bodies.
I asked you about Jesus' soul
Right.
particularly.
So, just like you reasoned earlier,
Okay.
from the general to the particular,
I'm with you.
all I'm saying is,
So you're saying the general rules about humanity are why you're taking the fact in your mind
Because
that
in this
Jesus' soul came in. So Jesus had
Because
no soul until he was in the womb of Mary.
he had no human soul until he was
Gotcha.
in the womb.
And when he came in the womb of Mary, his soul came into creation.
So yeah, his body and soul originate at that
Gotcha.
time.
And his body.
And
And
his
when he
body.
died, according to you on the cross, where did his soul go?
His body died, his soul remained united to his divine nature,
Okay.
and he ascended into heaven.
So before that time, there was no soul, but there was Jesus.
Before
and
what
then
time?
before Jesus was born,
Yeah,
he had no soul.
right.
So then God increased the soul of Jesus later. That's what you just said.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, let me repeat it again.
That's not
you,
all what I
let,
said.
let me say what I said, and then you can correct me. Anthony, we got this. Okay.
Just did, but
So
you got the laugh track over here. It wasn't even what I said.
people laugh. It's okay. So
but it wasn't good.
now, when you said that Jesus had no soul before his human conception,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there was Jesus, part of God. There was God himself, and then the Holy Ghost. We're not even going to go there. Okay. Then Jesus came to the womb of Mary, and a soul was created. They didn't exist before. Then you're saying no? You're saying no? Or?
He's not saying anything.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were shaking your head. Okay, so then Jesus was born with a human soul and a human body and a godly nature, three components. Then he goes on a cross and he dies, and his body dies. His soul now, that was newly created, now becomes a part of God.
No.
No?
That's not
That's
even close.
exactly what you said. Well, okay,
No,
tell me
that's
what you
not
said
exactly
then.
what I
Tell me
said.
what you said
And
then.
just like you said to me earlier, not putting words in your mouth.
I'm not.
Now
I
you
really.
accept from me, I didn't say anything like that. Right?
I got it. You guys got it on video, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
We got it on video.
Good. Say,
Yeah.
Tell me again.
What I told you, you
Okay.
said his soul increased, and I never said anything along those lines either.
Mm-hmm.
What I said is very clear, and this is just classic Christian theology.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Chalcedon is just solidifying what was always taught by Christians. At Chalcedon, it says that Christ took on a true human nature. Human nature is a body-soul entity. Right? Man is an ensouled being, an embodied soul. Okay? So when Christ takes on a human nature, he takes into union with himself a full human nature, body and soul. When the body dies, the soul doesn't cease to exist. And so when Christ died physically, his soul didn't cease to exist. Neither did it separate the union that had already been established at the incarnation between Christ as a divine person and that human soul. They're still fundamentally united. The soul doesn't become a part of the Godhead, but it still remains a human soul.
Okay.
It never becomes a part of the divine nature.
So you have it on video, and so do we.
Yeah.
But I'm going to repeat this again. Okay. So there was no soul before Jesus was in the womb of Mary, right?
Right.
Okay. So Jesus came in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
God created a new soul
Yeah.
for Jesus.
Yeah. We don't
Became a part of
Maybe
Jesus.
we have a different conception of what the soul is.
It's okay. Let's just keep going. Soul, body,
Soul and
connected.
body.
Okay. He came out on earth. You're with me, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. He goes to the cross. He gets killed, according to you.
Everything's
Now his soul and body separates. His soul that was not a part of the God union before, was not a part of Jesus before, where does that soul go?
It remains his soul.
And where does he go?
He goes back to the Father.
So the Father now has an increased soul. You said it, and you said it again, and now you're denying it.
Wait a minute.
All right, Anthony. Thank you.
Wait a minute. When you say you believe that Allah raised Jesus to himself, you believe that eventually someday you guys are all going to go, somebody's going to Jannah, right? Somebody's going to heaven.
Every Muslim,
Are
Allah
you
make
going
us.
to say they're added to Allah, like they're some part of his nature?
We do not believe.
'Cause I don't
Let
believe that
me respond. We do not believe we in Jannah are a part of Allah.
And neither do I.
But you said no. But you said Jesus is a part of God.
No.
We're talking about Jesus' soul.
I said.
You got God, bro. It's over. It's over. Thank you.
You've been asserting
It's
and
over,
begging the
man.
question the whole
Look,
time.
it's over. It's
You've
over.
been-
Thank
you've
you.
been asserting. Hold
Thank
on.
you.
Hold
It's
on.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you can get.
Thank
We'll
you.
bring Sam in here in just a second. But we need to be clear here. I never said that Christ's soul becomes part of the deity. That was your claim. That was your claim. You're laughing.
I'm glad this is recorded.
Right? Oh, I'm so glad because I'm going to show.
Okay,
this
so where does that
in
soul go?
simple English or
Where does the soul
Christian
go?
theology. What does it have to do with where does the soul go?
Jesus' soul, where does it go?
Do you think if somebody's soul goes to heaven, it becomes part of God?
No.
Well, neither do I.
But you said Jesus' soul connected with him. It doesn't separate
I-
and goes back to being a part of God.
But listen.
Come on, you guys
I
gotta
did
see
not
this.
say that
Come
it goes back
on.
to being part of God. You said that. And then you had your laugh track, and then you turned and handed to the camera.
Where does the
What
soul?
I
Where
told
does
you-
Jesus' soul go?
Okay, now let's be clear. Your assumption is if his soul goes up to heaven, then somehow it becomes
Where
part
does
of the deity.
Jesus' soul go?
Jesus' soul remains forever united to his divine nature.
Okay, and where does his divine nature? Is he back being a part of God?
What do you mean back to being part of God? He never
Wait,
ceased being part of God.
But he was human here, right?
As to his divine nature, he's always God.
Okay.
He never ceases to be God.
So then when he got a
When he
soul
takes on
attached to
himself
him,
a human nature, which
Yes.
includes a human soul,
right?
at his death he doesn't cease.
Okay, so that soul is now a part of the divine nature of
No,
Jesus, a part of.
it's-
Oh yeah, Allah.
That soul remains united in his person.
Yes.
It's his soul,
So
but
God-
it's not his divine nature.
So it's a part of him.
That's your disc job.
Is it a part of God or not?
It is his. He has a
can't
divine
answer.
nature and a human nature.
Is that soul, because his human body is dead, so his human soul, is it a part of God or not?
It is not a part of his divine nature.
It's
That's
not a
what
part
I'm
of
telling
God or not?
you. It's not part of his divine nature.
So Jesus' soul is not a part of God.
It's not part of his divine nature. Do you
It's a very
understand the
simple
deep-
question.
It's a very simple answer.
Is it a part of God or yes or no?
It's a very simple answer. His soul is his human nature, not his divine nature. Jesus, that person, has two natures, divine and human. You keep wanting to conflate the two.
So
Christian theology has always said that's not true. And
So
you're
when-
just learning for
when
the first
Jesus
time,
died-
after doing Da'if for
not the
so
first time.
long,
It's not the
for the
first time.
first time, you're just
Listen,
now learning that's
listen.
not Christian theology.
Anthony,
We got it on film.
Anthony,
You said it.
Anthony,
You
this
said
is
it.
the first time, as I said, that the way you're explaining it, right? Because other Christians explain it differently. But let
Well,
me
I'm telling you
let me
Orthodox
tell you.
Chalcedonian
Okay, let me
Christology.
tell you this. The question you're not answering: that soul that got created, is that a part of God? Yes or no?
Not in the sense you're asking.
Okay, thank you. So
Right?
the soul of Jesus is not a part of God.
In the
Got
sense
it.
that you're asking,
Thank
you're
you.
assuming it's part of his divine nature.
Okay,
I'm
so
telling
you're saying Jesus' soul, his human body's dead, but his soul is not a part of God. Thank you. I got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, even after he died.
That's just classic Christianity.
Even after he died.
Welcome to Christianity
Okay.
101.
So Jesus' soul is in heaven?
Yes.
So Jesus will be God and his soul will be in heaven.
Why are you doing this?
Because God,
YMCA?
I mean, you hope you will be in heaven, right?
Yeah, and I'm not
But you're
going
not
to be God.
But your
On
soul
your
is
assumption,
separate,
if his
right?
soul's in heaven, then it's part of God.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
never
did.
said that.
That's
I
the assumption.
never said
That's
that.
the assumption
I
of
did
your
not
argument.
make that assumption.
That is your assumption.
This is a flat
That is your
mistruth,
assumption.
I'll say, right?
Then if that's
That
not
is
your
not.
assumption, then
My,
your
let me
argument
let
doesn't
me
follow.
let me explain it to you again. Okay, let me explain my assumptions, okay?
Okay.
Let me explain what you said Jesus did not have a soul before the
Prior to
womb
the
of Mary.
incarnation.
Let me speak now, right? Jesus comes to the womb of Mary. God creates a body for Jesus and a soul for Jesus. Now Jesus is a body, a soul, and a divine nature, according to you. Then he lives in life, and he lives with those three components. Now at the cross, according to you, his body dies, right? And his soul and his divine nature go back to being a part of God. So now,
Notice the conjunction, soul and divine nature.
that's
Go
what
ahead.
I said.
Okay.
Yeah,
Notice
go
the
back to
conjunction.
being a part of God.
No, I didn't say that. That's where you keep
Okay,
making the false turn.
so where does the soul go?
But you're confusing location with ontology.
Okay.
You seem to think that Christ's location means some fundamental
so
change in his ontology.
Christ on
That's
earth,
just a complete category
Christ
mistake.
on earth
That's
was God walking
incredibly
around,
irrational.
right?
This whole time in this argument, you've been saying that you object to the incarnation because it's irrational, and now you're being as
It is.
irrational as possible.
I'm not.
You keep making a false turn that rests on the false assumption that if Jesus goes to the Father, then something about his ontology changes. That's just utterly fallacious.
Okay,
That's just utterly fallacious.
When
Even
Jesus
if you
was
show your
walking
teeth.
around on
Even if
earth,
you show your teeth,
when
he's
Jesus was
not.
walking around,
Uh-huh.
was he God himself?
He was both God and man.
Okay, so as God, he was walking on earth
Absolutely.
in a human form
With a human body, absolutely.
and a human soul,
And a human soul.
and that changed
What changed?
when he died on the cross.
His body died and went to the
Excellent.
dust. His soul remained his soul, but
Okay.
never his divine nature. It's
so-
still not his part of his
So
divine
his
nature.
soul then,
Never becomes part of his
okay,
divine nature.
so his soul will never be part of God.
It'll never be a part of his divine nature. Christ is
Okay,
one
all right,
person.
I got you.
He's-
Thank you.
He's
I get
a
it.
divine
Okay.
person. He has
I,
two natures.
I understand your answer.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't agree with it.
Well, okay, well, I don't
But
expect
that's-
you to agree
that's
at this
my-
point.
okay,
But I'm
sure.
saying you understand what it is now.
David, do you have the same?
You understand at
Do you
this
agree
point,
that the soul of Christ is not a part of God?
it's not a part of his divine nature.
You believe that? David would.
That's basic Christianity. I mean,
Oh, I mean, many Christians here, preachers and pastors, have said the soul of Christ is a part of God, right?
Well-
but you're saying it's not. Okay, I understand.
see, I don't know how
You're
they
saying
read
the
it.
soul of Christ was created, and when Christ died, his soul does not become God.
absolutely not.
Okay, his soul is in heaven.
So let me just say this then. I can't speak for other Christians,
Okay.
right? In this sense, the people you've
Got
talked
it.
to, right? I'm not going to say you're misrepresenting them. There are
You can talk to them.
possibilities, right? No. But I'm saying they might be speaking less than precisely,
Okay.
or you might be misunderstanding them.
Okay.
I can tell you this, even with all the laugh tracks going on, I can tell you this: historic, classic Christianity, in terms of its official formal creeds and confessions, teaches exactly what I just told you.
Okay.
Right? The Chalcedonian Creed, which is historic Christianity in its affirmation of the natures of Christ, has always affirmed that Christ had a fully human nature,
Okay.
and those those two natures forever are distinct. His human nature could never be his divine nature.
So the soul of Christ is not a part of God.
It's not a part of his divine essence, his nature, right? And this goes back to a fundamental distinction of Christianity that I think we agree on. And you would hold it as a Muslim, not as I'm not saying you hold this, the creator-creature distinction. There's an absolute distinction between the two.
Yes.
And so as Christians, as Christians, we affirm that distinction, and we don't believe the incarnation ever blurs that distinction.
But we believe Jesus was a creation. Wa alaikum salam.
Well, you believe he only was a human being.
He was a creation.
Yeah.
But you believe he was a creation and the creator.
We believe that he was the creator who took upon himself a human nature.
So again, that means you mixed the two.
which never become mixed. Again, if you read the Chalcedonian Creed, it says without admixture, without intermixing. So classic Christianity has always said those two natures remain distinct. They're both natures of the divine word. They belong to the word, but they never become the other. His divine nature forever remains divine. His human nature forever remains human.
But his human nature started at the womb of Mary.
Yes, because it's human.
Right? And his body died, and his soul will live, but never be a part of God.
It'll always be united in his one person. It'll never be his divine nature.
In the one person with the Father?
Yeah.
So soul then is now united with the Father.
The Son is always one with the Father.
Okay.
There's no change to the divine nature.
There is, because you just added a soul to it.
No.
It's united with it, right?
You don't even
Is the soul united with Jesus forever or not?
It's hypostatically. It's not ontologically.
Wow.
They don't become fused. I think you're thinking in terms of.
That's what it sounds like,
some
right?
tangible substance called deity.
No.
There's this other tangible stuff, and they get glued or something.
Let me just explain. Okay, so this is when your idea of God, right? There are three components, right?
What do you mean by what components are you referring to here?
Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
I wasn't sure if you were still talking about Christ, divine nature, human nature.
Well, that is Christ. It's one of the three, right?
Yeah, up here, yeah. But
up here. Okay, I got you.
Components you're talking about here.
I get you. I know what you. I like to be clear. So what I'm talking about is God, in your understanding, has three distinct components that come together as one: the Father, no. Okay.
That would be like us saying you believe that Allah has these components, his face and his shin and so on, that come together as Allah.
It wouldn't, because it wouldn't. Let me explain why not.
No,
because Allah's yad, for example, doesn't detach and come walk around on earth.
But we don't think Christ detached.
Okay, but you do say that God took on human form.
Yeah. Human nature.
Okay, so
we also believe that God is everywhere, so there's no detachment.
It's not like when I say took on, that's metaphorical. I don't mean.
If God is everywhere, then what's the difference between you and Jesus? You're both God then.
No.
God is everywhere, so God's in you, right?
See, why do basic terms break down like that with you? You
because
move from saying
you don't
God
make
is
sense.
everywhere to saying God is everything. Those are two different terms.
So that's the thing. Jesus was God, you're saying, not present at Jesus. So that's why you're trying to confuse the issue, because there's a distinction. You're saying...
I'm making the distinction. You're not.
I am. Let me explain it. So when you say God is everywhere, you don't mean he's everywhere in the sense that Jesus was here. Right?
In the sense that Jesus as incarnate?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So there is that's your breakdown. Okay, so let's take it back to that. So when Jesus was walking around, it is different from God just being everywhere according to you.
Because there's a hypostatic. You know what the term hypostatic
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When you add,
there's a hypostatic union. Hypostatic pertains to the person.
So that means
the person of the Son is not a physical, tangible thing. He can be present without taking up any space. Right? We're not saying he occupies space.
But right now, this here, us walking around, according to you, God is everywhere in a sense.
Everything.
Excellent, got you. But when Jesus is walking around, now this is different than just saying God is everywhere, because you're saying,
absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so when Jesus came to earth, not that he was already everywhere, like that, you can't just go on a loop.
He is always everywhere.
But there's a difference, right, of Jesus coming physically, right?
Yeah, he's incarnate in the womb. Though.
Yes or no?
That flesh doesn't come from heaven.
Thank you. But that connection is from heaven.
Starts in the womb.
Excellent. So now, when Jesus, according to you, was walking around, he was God walking around, right?
God
In the human form.
And man, he is both God and man.
Got it.
walking Around. Yes.
Got it. So
person,
that is different.
That person.
Excellent. So that is different than right now when you could say God is everywhere, but he's not walking around as a person, right?
Yeah, but the fact that he's everywhere makes that sort of thing possible.
Okay.
Right.
But again, like you said, it is not the same as him just being everywhere regularly, right?
Of course not.
Okay, thank you. So when God
Destroy the uniqueness of the incarnation.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. When I was saying that, you were like, well, he's everywhere anyway.
No.
Like, well, then that doesn't make sense. So let's go back to that. He's in the womb, and now a soul is created that was not there before, right?
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to figure
Okay.
out why we're back here again.
Because
We established this.
you went in a loop. That's why.
No,
I'm
you
bringing-
went on a loop.
Okay, so let's go back. Okay, that soul gets connected now to God, the Jesus, right?
Jesus is
Now-
a divine person with a divine nature.
Now has a soul connected to him.
Now this human nature is brought into union with his divine
Thank you.
through his one person.
Thank you.
It becomes the nature of that person.
Now the body will die,
yeah,
but now that soul will remain fused,
but
right?
I
That's
know
what you're
you
saying?
might use, though. But well, I'm saying it's still his nature.
Okay.
It's still his. That
Okay.
soul is his soul.
Okay, but it's
fused-
not a part of God.
It's not a part of his divine nature.
Gotcha.
They're always
But
distinct.
something new got connected to God, right?
But what do you mean by connected? You're acting like these are
Oh,
Legos.
what do you mean? No. You're telling me they're like Legos, right?
No, I'm
God
telling you
came
they're
in and you
not.
plugged the human body and you plugged the
telling you
soul,
they're not.
and then the human body
that's-
falls off and the soul
And
connects,
that's
right?
why,
That's
why
what you're
shooting
saying.
randomly and hitting air.
All right. Well, it's nice talking to you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you. David, I wish we.
Now you want Sam?
I want Sam. Look, let me explain this, right?
I don't mean like.
No, I don't want Sam, but yeah, it's like listen to me. You guys are welcome anytime. We're not here to debate. We're here to give da'wah. If somebody
Didn't you
wants,
invite Christian Prince to debate? You said
sure.
you're willing
Let
to
me,
debate everyone?
let me finish. Let me finish, and you'll get the answer. You're doing the Anthony thing now, right, David? You were doing so good so far, right?
Yes.
So
Wait a minute.
No, I just-
you were.
I
Yeah.
gotta do the
I thought
David
you were
thing now.
inviting people to debate, so if
Let
you're saying
me
you weren't doing that, then I
let me
just wanted
explain
to be
it,
clear.
and I've said it many times, right?
Come on,
Which,
let him talk.
yeah, thank you, David.
I'm sorry, I gotta-
Anthony,
I
yeah,
gotta-
you get the first dub this time. All right, I still want to leave you hanging. All right.
even now. We
So
gotta even now.
we are du'at. We are giving da'wah.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody wants to debate, they're more than welcome to come. Do you understand the difference now? Okay. So Christian prince, whatever. I'm sorry.
You got that in for the camera.
I've said that many a time.
I know.
I have to say, Mr. Prince, if you're afraid to show your face, I can get you a little niqab. What do you think about that idea? He could put like a little scarf on, and that way he won't show his face, and he can come in person like you guys.
So for the record, I have no idea why he doesn't want to be seen.
Princess, Prince,
he doesn't-
he doesn't know why you don't want to show your
No.
face.
No. Christian
You
Prince.
guys heard that? Christian Prince.
Prince.
Anthony saying, why aren't you showing
Christian
your face?
Prince is. Anthony is saying. I don't know Christian Prince.
I don't know him either.
I have no idea why he doesn't want to be.
Me neither.
But that doesn't mean he's afraid.
Well, I mean, there's some reason, right? And neither one of us know. So
So-
I'm
so-
offering.
So since neither
Could
one
be
of
his
us
job.
know,
You have a job, I'm sure,
Since
right?
neither one of us
What do you
know,
do?
just like you said earlier, you're not going to assert something.
You're a YouTuber. That's your job.
My main job.
Wait, that's your main job. You do this for money? Wow. What about you? What do you do?
I do a number of things. I am a pastor. I told you that at the start.
Cool.
I serve in prisons. That's
Oh,
what
nice.
I'm the regional
I used to do the
director
same thing.
in
Yeah,
South
nice.
Carolina for prisons.
Wow.
I was converted at 18 in prison.
Oh, wow.
So I've always had a love for prisoners, want to go in prisons. And I also,
Careful how you say that, but all right.
and then I also have a night job where I
Cool.
do a lot of online.
So Christian
not-
Christian Prince, we are together making an offer that if you would like to have a conversation like this and you don't want to show your face, I'm offering to bring you a niqab so you can cover your face, and we had a respectful nobody got hurt, nobody got beat up, nobody got fired, right? So we're making that offer to you. Nobody got fired. I mean, I work a regular job. I might get
yet,
fired,
not
right?
yet.
Not yet. Maybe I will. I'll take it for God. No problem. I'm not afraid.
With that said, assuming he has some, reason like, maybe his job doesn't want him out there showing himself or something like that, why wouldn't it be acceptable then to debate him online or something like that?
Excellent. So the thing that happens online that we see is that somebody has a mute button. right? And what happens is, as and again, I don't watch his channel, but what brothers have sent me clips and things, he just mutes them and talks over them. And that doesn't really benefit. Like, you see how we had a respectful conversation? We tried to keep it in person. And look, he doesn't have to fly here. If he wants to come somewhere, he can give me his address, no problem. I'll fly there. I'm not afraid of you coming here. He shouldn't be afraid of coming here either, right?
So let me
So
say this on
what I'm saying is, I prefer this kind of a conversation where we can have a conversation, not just mute each other and yell over each other, and somebody controls a button and somebody throws references without being here, right? So this is why.
I like that. Let me say
Good.
this.
I'm glad you like it.
I think there are channels on both sides that do some of that.
Sure.
People can.
I
enter into something.
don't do
think there
Skype.
are-
I don't do Zoom. I don't do those
There are
things, right?
channels where both sides have been respectable in
Sure.
the course of things.
Christian Prince has not,
Well,
and
I
you
don't-
know that.
No, I don't
Come
know
on.
anything.
Okay,
No,
we'll
no,
go-
no, no.
well, watch the
Listen-
show and then
no,
you'll
listen
figure
to
it
me.
out, yeah.
Listen to me. I haven't watched. I'm not. Like
You don't watch the show?
I'm not like a big. I don't watch all sorts of things.
Have you watched the show or not?
No, I mean I've seen.
Oh.
Like you, I can honestly say before God, I've probably seen about as much as you have, right?
And you haven't seen much.
And I haven't
You're not a
seen
big
much.
fan of Christian Prince, I guess. Then.
I'm not saying anything either way. I just
I mean,
don't,
you haven't-
I'm
Gotcha.
not, I don't know who the ruler is of Zamunda. Or,
Then you wouldn't be a big fan of the rule of Zamunda,
I
right?
don't- I know.
King Jaffe
Jafar. I'm just saying
All right.
I don't know.
So what I will
just don't
say,
get around
I
much.
appreciate the civil conversation. Right? And again, we are du'at, we are giving da'wah towards the oneness of Allah. We believe Allah is one. He doesn't become two, he doesn't become three. His sifat, his self. Let me finish, bro. Come on, Anthony, we're doing so good. David, where are you at?
Good. This is our closing.
All right, our closing. So let me close.
Okay, you close.
I'll let you go first. You're the guest. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why don't you guys like take two minutes each or something like
Excellent.
that?
Go ahead.
To close out. Does that work?
Oh, sure.
Well, I'm gonna.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Anthony. I'll let you speak.
I'll say this. I think we've gotten our major points out there.
Excellent.
Yeah, we've gotten some perspective. I think we've had a pleasurable dialogue. I've enjoyed you. I've expressed some of the things that I like. I love the fact that Muslims are willing to engage. I hope that never changes, unless, of course, they become Christian. That's the ultimate goal from our perspective, just like yours is for us to become Muslim. I think that if we honestly go back and look through this, there's been a good bit of breakdown in terms of, but also clarification. But I think there's been breakdown in some of the understanding. Hopefully some clarification along the way on both sides.
Good.
And I do think that we've, for the most part, established that we, from our perspectives, have an aversion to the other perspective, but there hasn't so much been an argument presenting that case against or for or what have you. So, I'm not trying to make any new arguments here. I'm just summing up from my perspective. I think this was pleasurable.
Productive.
I think it was productive. As a human being, I've enjoyed you. Obviously we're on different sides of the, God.
At least we both believe in God.
Yeah, that's true. And neither one of us are minimizing the serious nature of our differences, right? When I say I appreciate all these things, I'm not saying, okay, you're okay. You're not saying I'm okay, right?
I think you're okay.
But in the sense of, ultimately, both of us think the others are seriously off and have a reckoning to give.
You were going so well.
Yeah,
Just
but
kidding.
you
Go
know
ahead,
that's
David.
true. Come
I'll
on.
say it too. Don't worry.
You know it's
Go ahead,
true.
David.
Oh, sort of final thoughts here.
Yeah.
I'll just give you my basic view. Muslims generally go right to Christian theology, and this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. Whereas Islam is this, easy to understand oneness and so on. My view is that when you really get into Islamic theology, you're talking about the attributes of Allah and the Quran and the nature of the Quran and the eternality of the Quran and the spirit of Allah and all these things. It seems more confusing than people are generally letting on. And my general view is just because something is confusing doesn't mean you dismiss it. Just because, if you study quantum mechanics, no one gets it. They just understand that's how things work. So for me, it comes down to something we didn't actually get to here. What's true? What has God revealed? And what has He shown that He has revealed to us? And because if God said to me that Islam is true, and I would say, okay, I don't get all this stuff, but He's God and I'm not.
Okay.
But similarly, if God reveals that Christianity is true, then just, to me it just wouldn't matter if there were some aspect of Christian theology and I said, you know, I really don't get that, or it doesn't make sense, or something like that.
Gotcha.
So, but I do think it's cool when we can have conversations like this. And you know, Anthony, Sam, we're all similar in that we're willing to escalate under certain circumstances and so on.
Gotcha.
But I think it's better if we have nice conversations like this.
Good.
That's my view.
So,
It's getting late.
so no, wait. I gotta finish my thing. Sorry. Wait, man.
You're just gonna give a quick final thought.
2 minutes, yeah. All right. So,
You think of a topic. I don't know.
all right. So, first thing I would say, I want to appreciate you guys coming out. I want to appreciate your behavior, and I want to say that in the world that we live in, with atheism on the rise and all those kinds of things, I think Muslims, Christians, Jews have a lot in common, right? We do believe in God, at least. We do believe there's a creator, right? And that's something to focus on. I don't think this is really like a butting head war type of a situation that some people want to make it, right? I don't think we should be insulting. I think we should be having a good conversation, as we've had. I believe that there is one creator. That one creator is indivisible. He doesn't become two, he doesn't become three, he doesn't become four. He has one Zat. Zat of Allah is one. Sifat don't make it different. It is part of the same Zat of Allah. I believe that one creator, he sent Moses and Abraham and Muhammad and Jesus and all of these prophets as prophets. All of them had different miracles. Some were born without a father or mother. Some were born from the rib. Some were born without a father. Some split the ocean. Some split the moon. These are miracles sent to these prophets. And they all brought the same message. The message didn't switch up that, okay, right now you need to do good deeds and then later on just believe and somebody else will die for your sins. To me, that's not from the nature of God to be unjust to a bunch of people by making them accountable for their deeds, and then unjust to another people by then just believing in something and no better deeds they go to heaven. To me, that's not my belief. My belief is that there is one Allah, one creator. He revealed the Quran. He is the one that sent the prophets, and those prophets preached the same message. Believe in one creator. Don't worship idols, no statues, no symbols of statues, all those kinds of things, and follow the prophet of your time. I believe this is the time of the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I invite all of you to believe in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and follow that guidance, and this is what I believe leads to heaven. Again, appreciate the time, appreciate the conversation, and you can bring Sam if you like.
Sam, we gotta break our fast. Come on.
Let me stop this real quick just to start it up again so the file's not too long.
Sam!
Sir! Come on.
Four minutes.
Take a seat if we want.
No, I'm good. Yeah, we have to. It's not an option. So, 10 minutes, lock it up. Sam!
I was waiting for these guys to.
All right, how you doing? You mind it? Should I call you Hassan? Oh, give me a hug.
No, people think I get offended when they call me Hassan. I don't.
What do you want me to call you? I don't want to call you anything
Whatever,
offensive.
Hassan.
What do you like? Sam, pick.
Take what? I don't know what.
Pick a name that you like.
Hassan.
Hassam. How are you, Hassam? Where are you from?
I like this one, Jaman Baru.
You like it? Good.
Ashuri Chaldean.
Okay, you're Chaldean.
Ashuri Chaldean.
Ashuri
Don't
Chaldean.
speak Arabic.
Okay.
But I'm
Speak
from born
Chaldean?
in Kuwait. Yes, I speak
Nice.
it. Born in Kuwait.
You got a big community in San Diego.
Yes, you do. My cousins are there too.
Nice.
So don't tell them you might. Just kidding. 1974 came to Chicago, so I didn't learn Arabic. I learned Assyrian.
Gotcha.
Just want to be clear because some people think I speak Arabic.
I speak Arabic.
Yeah, I know you learn. But I keep telling them I don't speak English. I'm lying.
I believe you. You don't speak Arabic.
I don't speak it.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know what you guys were talking about.
We had a big conversation. We got like a few minutes before we have to go break our
Okay,
fast.
but God willing,
Yes.
I've come back. We'll have
Anytime.
Yes.
I'll tell you what.
I'm in
So-
Arizona,
Sam,
but I come up here like
assume.
once a month.
Tell you what.
Yes.
I'm inviting you in front of everybody here to break fast with me. Come to my house, eat food with me, drink tea, We can. I have a library. We can sit down.
Because
So,
he's my right.
what time do you? What time?
We go to Arizona. I'm in Arizona.
What time are you leaving?
There's no specific time we need to leave, so if you want us to come over, we'll come over. How late would it be?
Probably on 7 o'clock. We'll start dinner.
Whatever you want.
Then
to do.
we'll.
He's
we'll
my
be-
right. But I come up once a month. I promise you. Now that we understand each other, I will come up.
Okay. Let me give you my number.
Yes, same here.
And if you want, then today, if you guys are heading out, because it's gonna get. If we sit, we're gonna sit at least till 10 p.m. midnight. So you guys better be ready. All right.
224?
No, let's turn the cameras out. And I don't want people. I don't want people. Me or you getting messages. Here, there you go. Just type it in. All right.
You're lucky to.
All right.
Don't send it to him. And yes, and say he's my right. But I will be coming more often. I'll see you guys.
All right. Cool.
Because I come up here once a month. I see people.
Once a
San
month.
Diego, I have
Man, you've been
cousins,
coming
and
this often. Never came and said hello,
I
man.
met you the wrong way.
Oh, I gotta meet you the right way.
That's why I come here.
Give me a hug. All right.
We'll talk more. I hope
We will. We will.
Now, you guys do have time for a quick conversation, so what's a good
He said a few minutes he wants to breathe.
Yeah, I have to leave. So I mean, we leave at 5. So
Go ahead, guys. It's okay. We'll come.
come back.
He'll
All
call,
right.
he'll call me if you want to go to his house. You're the
صلى عليه الله ما هب الصبا وعلى جميع الآل والأصحاب